Because I'm buying.
Okay, I got 9 o'clock.
I told him to say that. So.
All right, we'll gavel this regularly scheduled fiscal court meeting on January 25th into session. And we'll start out today with an invocation from Magistrate Tom Ellis.
May we bow in prayer. Heavenly Father, most often when we meet, one of the first things we all talk about is our military, both here and overseas. Please grant them protections in all that is going on in the world. As we think about the past several weeks and the tornadoes all over our Commonwealth, please be with those people who are now recovering. The reports just recently on national news about hunger and cold and folks who are on the streets, please comfort them and let us all reach out to them. We sincerely and deeply pray for the efforts of our Attorney General, of all the folks, the 150,000 folks who walked last weekend in Washington, D.C. on the Walk for Life, and the millions of young people on hundreds of college campuses who likewise are taking up that charge. Please, Lord, please move our hearts and move us as a group that cares about the people of Boyle County, and guide our hand, guide everything we do, bless our work for our constituents today. It's in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, that I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Next, we'll approve the prior meeting minutes.
Move we approve them as presented.
We have a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Been seconded by Ronnie Short. The motion was made by Magistrate Gay. Is there any changes that need to be made to the minutes?
I have a point of discussion, if I may, Judge.
Sure, go ahead.
There's something that had to do with the ethics sentence that's in here. In the discussion on that, which didn't get into the minutes now, everybody has their own opinion of what goes in the minutes, I understand that. But there was one important fact that I think was left out that we need to point out, is that at the present time, we are really not in compliance with the ethic ordinance because we don't have 5 on that.
Right.
And we had that discussion, and it was Julie very well pointed it out that we were short out of 1 district.
Yes, sir.
And that didn't make any minutes, and I think it should be. Plus, my follow-up question would be, where are we now on that? And are we making
Follow-up
progress on
question is,
filling that position, sir?
there is a gentleman that we've reached out to and we've not connected with. I've talked to his wife and he's interested and he's very well qualified.
Yes.
He is from Junction City and I can give you a name, but I'd rather not
No.
right now until I talk to him. But I've called 3 times and I've gotten the answer machine 3 times, so I'm keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying. I do know, according to his wife, he's interested in wanting to serve.
Good. Well, I just wanted, we keep
And I hope to
moving
have a
forward
name.
on it, so.
What I've asked for
Yes, sir.
and not received is a short paragraphical bio or sketch of what he's done and who he is.
I think this committee, I'd like to see it filled out to what it's supposed to be as soon as we possibly can do it, so. And also, Julie, if you don't mind, I'd like another copy of this because I only got the odd pages and I didn't get the
Of the
even
ethics
pages.
ordinance?
Excuse me?
Of the ethics ordinance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
If you would, please.
She's just got every other
I
page.
got every other page, so.
Really, I did too.
Okay.
I was gonna bring it up. I've got, through page 12, and I have 6 pages. I have 1, 3,
It's not two-sided.
no,
It gets a little mixed up when you
no, not on
go
both.
from page 1 to page 3
Yeah,
to page 5.
yeah.
She was just testing to see if y'all would actually
See
read
if
it.
you actually
Yeah, I
are
read
ready.
it, and I called John and I said, what's wrong with this thing? And he said, well, I haven't looked at it yet, so.
But I did.
Probably have to read.
I hope to be able to transmit to the personnel committee that name and acceptance and a bio for their discussion and recommendation to the body.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? Hopefully this week. Still trying. Okay, any no other changes to the minutes? All those in favor approve, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries unanimously. All right, next, we have, approval of bills. Ms. Mariah is out today, and, so, Darlene is gonna be making that presentation.
Yes, we have a total amount of bills to be paid totaling $206,534.77.
Move we pay the bills as presented. Second.
We have a motion to approve the bills as presented by Master Gage, seconded by Master Cullen. Is there any questions?
Yes, sir, I have
Yes, sir, go ahead.
a couple questions on, I'm just curious about, we bought 2 tires for, Public Works, 2 tires, is almost $1,100. What kind of 2 tires were they? It'd be that expensive. I'm just wondering.
You want me to Duane in here asking?
Is Duane out there?
Tires.
Yeah,
Should be out there.
I
That's a big,
I mean, it
big
could
truck
be on-
cars, probably.
It could be on a truck, it could be on one of our bigger pieces of equipment.
That's what I'm making.
I noticed we needed, I know we needed a tire on that big front end loader.
I'm way down the list.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, no,
You're moving that fast?
no, this is on a bill pay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thing. Wanna know why 2 tires was $1,100 for Public Works?
Dump truck size tire.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, they're
Big
big,
tires.
those are big tires.
I compliment Phil for his good eye.
The,
2 things he's read.
You just
can
got
y'all put
one.
recaps on them, or do they make recaps?
Right on front
Things
tires.
that make a-
Oh, the front's
no,
okay.
they-
I know you could in the front, I know you can in the back.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir, thank you, sir.
Well, do you have anything
That's
else?
just for,
I had, not for him.
that's just what they've gone to, me, even pickup truck tires, I like over $300 a piece now.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be more concerned that we had 3 jail keys made for $580.
Well, I just bought set tires for a smaller car, but I paid for about a little over $400 for 4 tires. So that's what caught my eye.
That was cheap.
I didn't know jailers carried around gold keys.
Well,
That's pretty.
these are Continental, pretty good tires.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Those are
One
probably
question I
90s.
had, Judge, on the bills, and I can't find it right off.
Those are the ones they give you when you cut the ribbon at the city?
They look at that like that. They work
I
that
seen
way.
it last night, but I can't find it in the hard copy of gasoline. What period of time does the sheriff's office charge the guys? Is it 1 month, 2 months, or what?
I think it's monthly.
Well,
It is
this is
monthly.
the highest bill I've ever seen.
Okay. They're responding to everything. It's crazy.
So,
Their response calls
response-
are way up, just like EMS is
Well,
way
yeah.
up.
those, like we talked about when we were buying them, those, big, four-wheel drive trucks use a lot of gas. But this is about a $7,000 bill, that's 1 month, that's getting pretty high.
Yeah. Well, like, Deputy Wren, he's usually working the night shift, and he's kind of all over the county by himself. He's using a Charger. So we got some in trucks, we got some in Chargers, but those engines, they all use about the same
I
amount of gas.
know that, but I'm wondering how many places in the county we couldn't get to with a two-wheel drive. That's just my.
Another thing too, they run all the time,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, I
Just
mean,
like our ambulance.
them on.
all the time.
yeah, they keep them idling, so that uses gas too.
Why they keep them idling all the time.
Plus gas is going up, so.
Well, yeah, you got that too. I mean, it doesn't really have to do with this, but, you know, John and General and I learned this morning that, you know, EMS,
You need to address him as judge.
The general's fine too.
we got, we
Uh,
do this every year.
That is for 1 month.
So
That is for 1 month.
EMS made actually 6,219 runs in 2021.
It's EMS.
EMS, yep. And at the last meeting, they actually had reported it was 5819, so they were actually found 400 more runs that they didn't for the year. So that's averaging 17 runs a day. And that's also going back and forth to Lexington, Louisville, wherever they have to go to. So gas prices are increased.
I'm not talking about EMS, I'm talking about the sheriff's office.
You can ask him why.
Sheriff will be in here, but, I mean,
I mean, that just seems, that's the highest bill I've ever seen.
well, we're seeing some of the highest gas prices too.
And the coldest weather.
Yep.
Make the excuses, that's fine. Go ahead, Judge, that's all I have.
All righty,
And I would ask him when he comes in.
sure,
I mean, it's a legitimate question,
Yeah.
probably. Why,
It is.
I mean,
it is.
the difference between last month and this month, you know,
What's the difference, do we know? I don't have last month's.
I don't have last month, but it,
Okay, any other questions?
No, sir. I don't
All those
have
in
any.
favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and motion carries. All right, next, we have, budget transfers.
I have a couple of, which one are you looking at?
Budget,
That one? Okay. These are transfers I needed to make to, one was just a deposit to the wrong account, I just need to move that over. A couple others are, to help cover the balances. There were a lot of, bills that Mariah was able to catch up on that had not been, covered for a while. They hadn't been totally paid in. I don't have all of her outstanding balances, but, we paid in excessively large amount of old bills. So, they totaled, well, with the Allen County, well, they totaled themselves over $80,000 just in bills that were 60, 90 plus days old.
Wow.
I don't know, I can't answer that. A lot of that came before I came. So I just needed to do a little bit to,
Mariah was out with her maternity, and I guess, I don't know what happened. But that's what, a lot of that,
It's hard when stuff comes electronic these days. You know,
Yeah.
when you request stuff's electronic and then the person's not here for like 3-4 months and you find some stuff.
yeah, things, yeah, things end up, you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you for catching it.
slid, but anyway,
Get it taken
she
care of.
did a great job of getting everything caught up. I think we're totally up to date as far as that goes.
Have you had calls from creditors that don't want to be paid?
One or two.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, was that the budget transfers, Darlene?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Motion to approve the budget transfers as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Magistrate Sammons. The motion was made by Magistrate Cullen.
And what was that total amount? Is it the 150?
The one
It's on this page here.
That's what I was looking at.
150.
Yeah.
150, 290.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it was stated. I don't think it was ever stated, just for.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah,
for the
150,000.
both
record. Yeah, okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Next, cash transfer.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm just moving a couple of funds, just to cover, $150 from training to some office supplies and, some money from services to cover, legal fees.
Looks like total
For the general service legal fees.
$1,150.
Yeah, $1,150 total.
Make the motion, we approve the cash transfers as presented.
Second.
Motion been made by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Short to approve the cash transfers as presented. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, now, you have in your packet, my, request to consider a reappointment of Miss Agnes Bartleson to the Boyle County Health Department. She's been serving for a while. I talked to Brent Blevins. He is highly supportive of her desire and has talked to her as I have with the her desire to continue serving in the health department. She's very active.
I'll make that motion,
participant.
Judge.
I would appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Second.
All right, motion made by Magistrate Sammons and seconded by Magistrate Gay to reappoint Agnes Bartleson to the Boyle County Health Board. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. That was unanimous.
She's a nice lady.
Yes, she is. Absolutely. And she's very engaged and involved in that board.
So do they serve on that board so many years and go off?
2 years.
Then they go off for what, a year? And come,
I think they can succeed themselves.
They can succeed themselves.
oh, okay. So she come off and then she's coming back on?
Well, no, she's finishing her term and she's being reappointed.
Okay,
To a
okay, I
succeeding
understand.
term.
Is that Norman's wife? Widow?
You know, I don't know. It might be. I'm not sure.
I believe it is,
Not sure. Next, if we can work, I'm gonna flip Janet and Brent Blevins. I'm gonna ask Janet Hamner to come in with the introduction of our new CBD board,
Director.
director.
Thanks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
You ready?
Ready? Yes, ma'am.
Floor is yours.
I'm Janet, and I'm here from the CVB to introduce our new director of the CVB. This is Kendall Clinton. He comes to us from Lawrenceburg, where he was the CVB director. Before that, he worked in print media. And we hope he'll be here with us for a good long time. He's looking for a house to buy,
Good luck.
and he's not having very much luck, so if anybody has an extra house, Kendall will take it. So, Kendall, step right up here and answer these hard questions. Whatever they
We're
may
building some new ones at Chevy Green.
Yeah.
be.
I may be homeless too. My house has an
I'd be
awful.
happy.
Well,
Look out on Pearl Road, there's one or two out that way.
Okay. And my wife's all over Brazil every day.
Especially on the left, going out, you can find one.
You just rent him one of the row houses there in Constitution Square for now. You'll be okay.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Bring a cop.
Like she said, I've been in Lawrenceburg the past 4 years. I was their first tourism director. I started the tourism office, worked by myself for 4 years, got it built up to the point where hopefully somebody else can step in and keep leading that ship. was really happy that I was called about the Danville position. I've always admired what goes on down here, and people always speak well at Danville, and discovered a lot of things I didn't know about Danville, Boyle County. I'm excited to have of course, the battlefield, everything that goes on here, all the events. Already started working with several different organizations that are doing things this year. And as I mentioned last night at City Council, I'm working with a TV show that hopefully will be filming an episode focusing specifically on Boyle County that would appear on KET. I worked with them once before, and they aired an episode on Anderson County 4 times, and it continues to air like all the time. You'll just see it randomly pop up. So hopefully that will work out. We had about an hour and a half Zoom call, identified some different locations and topics that we can focus on. So it's just a matter of getting the logistics work out there. Big focus of mine is social media. I'm trying to get that established a little bit more, grow our audience. After I leave here, I'm going over to the Arts Center to film a video for Facebook that'll focus on their new Appalachian exhibit. Hoping to do a lot more video for Facebook, Instagram, and also in the past few weeks I've been getting our website back in order. I've probably got 30 or more events listed on there now, and trying to touch base with all the different organizations that have events that want them listed. Still got some more to reach out to, but hopefully we'll have a nice robust calendar from here on out on Facebook, website, and other places.
Great.
Judge Kendall and I have already been in 2 meetings, one birthplace of Kentucky, and then last week at EDP, and I've invited him to go out to the battlefield and meet Brian Bush, and I'm going to make sure that he meets folks like Matthew Ellis, and of course Junction. You'll want to get him over there with some of the folks there too, because we talked about the triangulation that you've mentioned so many times, taken in the entire county. So thank you, Kendall.
How long have you got a wife and kids?
Yeah, me and my wife. Kids are all grown, so.
Kids are all grown?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
that's great.
She's
I know he's getting ready to bring up some of his research he's done in the past.
No.
Very important to Boyle County. Was it 44 million, John?
44 million
Okay.
plus, yeah.
Plus.
Well, we're gonna talk about that. I've already given my.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you some time to get acclimated, but as I sat here and listened to him, in the background of journalism, I really like, because I use the phrase, tell our story.
Right.
And I think being in journalism, that
That's
puts
gonna
you
help a lot,
ahead of
yeah.
somebody. But he and Bill Nichols getting together to work a little bit on our website as Bill develops our new website, in that program that we're getting into that talks about, well, okay, you all need to communicate, I think.
Absolutely. Bill Nichols is our information technology director. Okay. And we've just migrated to a new web page platform, and there's a great opportunity for expanded promotion of our historic attributes, the contributions to this country in that webpage.
So that all integrates extremely well with the initiative George Cooper brought to us last year, which at this point is just sitting there. You're probably not even aware of that. Go to Williamsburg, go to Winston-Salem, and just punch a button or anything like that. We're going to be doing some recordings, both video and audio in the future. So that's part of the discussion that we'll have with Brian and others. But we've got to get that moving.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you.
We'd just like to welcome you.
Yeah, welcome to Boyle. I think you'll find plenty of targets of opportunity to help promote this county, to help us hopefully increase our $44 million tourism impact here in the county, and that's a big thing that we've talked about in the past. So we're just glad you're here, and we're looking forward to working with you. And you stop in my office anytime, and if you got some ideas or concepts of working by Birthplace of Kentucky Committee, and or anything else we can do to help you do your job better.
Appreciate that.
And just stay in touch with us as often as you can, monthly or every 2 months or something. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Glad to come in and give updates.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Anybody else?
You've got a great board. I think this
Yeah.
is probably the most involved board that y'all have had in a while, so you've got a lot of tools at your disposal right now, so yeah, excited. Kendall and I talked at the airport breakfast a few months back, so.
Yeah, trying to hire an assistant right now. I've got a lot of office work that takes up a lot of time, so hopefully I can get somebody in there to start working on brochures and leads, things that just have to be done but take up a lot of time. So that's my next big step.
Sounds good.
Get you a
Sounds good.
center intern or two.
And we talked about that.
You've got my cell number, give me a couple of dates and we'll get out to the battlefield.
Okay.
Thank you, Kendall. Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you, Miss Hamner, for bringing him.
Okay,
Send Brent Blevins in if you see him out there.
he's out here. Brent, you're up.
Hey guys.
Hey, man, I saw you yesterday afternoon.
What? We got a little stuff going on, but that's all right. How are you all?
All right, how you, man?
I'm all right.
I want to say something about Brent. He and Stephanie, I love them, a couple of days ago. I came in early one morning and there they were shoveling all of 3rd Street on our side. Up and down. He and his wife working shoveling the sidewalk. Thank you, Brent.
Well, you're
And
welcome.
I want the public to know how nice that was.
You know where I live?
Probably a no. It was cold that morning, that's for sure.
Jamie and I'd like to say something about you.
All right.
We'd like to have your hair.
Oh, man. You know,
About
my hair, it was leaving me faster and faster the older I get. The last 2 years, it's definitely left me.
Oh, you're looking good.
All right, smoke-free tobacco ordinance kind of stuff. All right. I'm just gonna, y'all know me well enough, I'm gonna give you my 2 cents and kind of go that route. And feel free to ask me any questions you want to know. I'll be glad to tell you anything else that I sort of know about it. Here's kind of my take on it for right now. I sent, and I don't know, did it get in the okay, good. And the only reason I sent that, because I just wanted you to have a better idea of, in that packet of all the places that have some sort of smoke-free type ordinance, or tobacco-free, whatever they're calling it, and that gives you just a little idea on that map. And I think I have 2 pieces. One of them was a vaping, I believe, and one of them was just smoke-free. And then on the map, even according, I believe, the way it is color-coded, it gives you a little better idea of the strength of the ordinance and what that looks like. But I think it's just a good visual, so you kind of see around the state of Kentucky what that looks like. And I think there's 40-some communities in there that have some version of that. For my 2 cents at this point, in looking at tobacco and smoke-free and what those ordinances look like, to me, number one, it's no longer about is it a health hazard, to the people exposed, secondhand smoke and all that. I think there's enough evidence out there that we can see that. I think that's pretty common. And if you even look at what Ethan McDowell put out on their Facebook post, I believe it was last night, and they were talking about lung cancer and secondhand smoke, and that was kind of their big announcement for the day of what even they were focusing on and looking at lungs. But it also seems to me that from an economic standpoint, and there's tons of studies that smoke-free ordinances don't hurt the economics of a business. They don't take away business, anything like that. I kind of see it as this now for communities. If somebody's wanting to come into your community, your entire community, as a business, and they don't have to deal with smoke-free themselves, there's already an ordinance about it, there's whatever you want to call that. And that's one of the things that they know right up front. Hey, this area is smoke-free. All the employees that I have coming in, that's not a battle I'm going to have to fight. Maybe I'll have some reduced health care costs with all the employees that I have, or that I'm going to get from that area, because I don't have as much smoking going on in my building, the secondhand smoke. I think that's a huge economic piece that people can use to say to businesses coming in. If you look at Danville and if you look at Parable now, both of those have ordinances. And I think, for my opinion, both of them have done very well. I know Parable's very new in this, 2 years ago, I think they had just gotten theirs going, or maybe 3. But if you look at Danville, the business there, I don't think it's had a negative impact at all on that. And so that's kind of my 2 cents on it anymore, is I don't think there's any way to look at it anymore and say, number one, from a health standpoint, that it's anything negative. I think it's positive, no matter how you do it. And then I think economically, I think it makes great sense for people that are looking to try to get businesses to come into their communities, to be able to say, we've got this, you don't have to deal with that piece, we've already got that covered. And that's the two ways that I really look at it. I mean, we've all been around enough to see this. There's so many stories you can see of people who have had lung cancer and whatever cancers, and there's a lot of those stories, and it's true. I mean, tobacco can have a very detrimental effect on physical health. But there's so much of that information out there now. To me, it makes a lot of sense to just kind of get to the part where we take the load off the business, the economic piece, give them relief on that right up front. They don't have to battle with that. Of all the things they've had to battle with in the last 2 years, smoke-free, maybe they didn't have to battle with that and going forward.
Don't most companies have a policy, their own policy, where it's smoke-free inside the factory?
I think, I can't say that everyone does, but I would assume, yes, you're right, Phil, that most of them do.
I don't think they'd let them smoke in it while they're working.
I think, sorry.
That's kind of what he was saying at the beginning, though, was that they don't want to have to broach that policy if the county or the cities already have one in effect. So it makes it easier if we're trying to attract businesses to come here. Oh, you're already smoke-free, I don't have to worry about that going into.
Yeah, but any business comes in our county, they can dictate whether they want non-smoking or smoking.
Oh, absolutely. A business has that ability to do that.
I mean, if they can do that, I don't see where we're going with this.
I know in the insurance business years ago, Ronnie probably remembers, I made it a rule that we didn't smoke and nobody smoked in the office. Because I didn't like smoking. You have to have your clothes cleaned every time you wore them in, so they all this smoke.
So the bigger picture is here's we're 1,000+ employees short in this county. And so the more stipulations an actual business has to put on who they'll hire makes it harder for them to actually get that employee. And so what Brent's trying, so like somebody wants to go work for, let's say Megan. Megan says, sorry, we're no smoking factory. And they're like, oh, we'll just go over this place instead because, whatever.
There's no, I don't know if there's a factory in Danville that allows smoking in the factory.
I don't either.
I don't know of one that does.
Okay. I mean, if we still want to be backwards, it's fine.
Same thing about a restaurant. Give me a restaurant that.
We had a couple. COVID kind of took them out, but
that would have been a question that I would have asked Brent, and I don't think that there's a real good answer for it. Is, we can legislate not a countywide thing, but are we over legislating? Because I don't know of any restaurant, Parkville, Nichols, or anywhere
that you're allowed to smoke.
That you're allowed to smoke in the restaurant, or a place that the public frequents.
Well, there used to be a Junction,
but it's closed.
It's closed.
Yeah, I think they moved to Lincoln, I believe.
Yeah, and
so are we fixing something that may not be broke?
But, and again, this is just Brent's opinion. To me, it's still, and I'm a lot more along the lines of what Jason's talking about. To me, it's just that down the road piece. So that we don't have the place, and I'll use Junction because that's the most recent one and probably the one that we can all think of. So that we don't have that kind of battle going on where, yes, we have a place that's smoking, we have people working there. And right now it's easier for us to say, hey, people can get a job somewhere else, but that hadn't always been the case. It's harder once you get locked into a job to go somewhere. And if you're somewhere where it's smoking and that's detrimental to your health, to me it just makes sense if you've already got that protection set up countywide, ordinance-wide, that you're just protecting any scenario that would come up. I do agree with what you all are saying right now. I don't know of a place off the top of my head that is smoking inside. There could be, and I just don't know. I just think down the road, it's a good way to look at that.
Yeah, and that's the point I was going to make, is now may be the best time to do the countywide smoke-free ordinance, which for all the reasons Brent and Jason and others have indicated, if we're not putting a pressure on some business that already has smoking, then now is the time to do that. Just as to be a smoke-free county, I think is an important thing for people to know and understand, and I think it sends a very clear message that we.
It sends a clear message to me that we're being overruling because a guy's got a little welding shop and he's got one employee and he has friends coming in, and these guys that are coming in, most of them smoke, and he's saying, oh, you can't come in now because you smoke. I'm not for that in the county, I would be honest with you, because these small operations don't need it. Because they're going to tell, a lot of them, I know a guy that's in your type district, Tom, that is really, I mean, he's pretty bitter about even us thinking about it, because he says, I smoke a cigar occasionally and this and that. Are you telling me I can't smoke my cigar?
What's gonna happen to these places like that? If you pass this ordinance that they can't, they're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
And there can be, I mean, there's always
I mean,
enforcement issues.
That's just the way it is.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what ordinance you have, for the most part, it seems like there's always an enforcement
Right.
issue somewhere that has to be dealt with, and I totally.
It's a code enforcement thing. And I'll send you video next time of me having to give my 8-year-old boy his breathing apparatus because he walked in places where people are smoking. And it has happened.
Where was it, in this county?
No, it's in another county. But, you know, he is sensitive enough, and I don't know if y'all remember, I spent a whole month at UK in the pediatric ICU dealing with his asthma conditions because of various conditions. And when you're at a level where you're already, you know, having problems, adding anything onto it makes it worse.
But
So
we can't control what other counties do.
we can control what our county does, though.
Right, and we have.
How?
No restaurants that I know of, like the judge said.
Well, we can open
The
up.
whole county has smoke free.
So we just had our
I mean,
tourism
that's
director
where
in
you can
here.
smoke.
We had our tourism director in here. We're trying to get more tourism to come through here. Do you know how backwards we look if somebody comes into a place that does open and allows smoking and stuff like that? And
Where could it be?
huh?
Where could that be?
It could be anywhere in the
Campbell
county.
has an ordinance, Pearl has an ordinance that there's no smoking, and
The only one in Junction doesn't
the
have
one
one.
in Junction doesn't have an ordinance.
I thought Junction did.
No.
No, not yet.
No, they don't.
But, you know, somebody takes over the farmhouse and they want to make it smoking, then they can smoke there, you know? Or, you know, Danville's ordinance has it where you can't smoke within 10 feet in front of a restaurant either. So how many times have you kind of walked by a front door of a business and people were standing right outside there smoking as well?
That's your ordinance not being enforced again.
No, what, all right. What I'm saying is if somebody's in the county smoking out where there is not an ordinance, in Danville's, they're enforced. They've got code enforcement that enforces it. Restaurants, it gives them the ability to say to somebody, you know how many times I had to say to people in my restaurant, hey, there's a no smoking, you can't be within 10 feet of the front door of a restaurant and smoke. And so they would say, okay, no problem. They would just kind of go around the corner. A lot of people expect it these days.
I don't smoke and never have, but I think we can go too far about trying to tell what everybody can do. That's just like trying to tell a farmer what he can do with his farm.
Or telling a person what they can do with their land if they want to
Some
put
kind of
a
personal
dog
thing.
kennel up in like maybe your district. We're telling them, hey, you can't do that. We do it all the time,
We've got
Phil.
ordinances.
We're picking and choosing which battles we're going to see based on what we like and don't like. It's what we should be doing is looking out for the people that actually put us here, not our friends.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm looking out for is my constituents. I'm sure don't want it.
Don, please.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but my work in ASAP, it seems to me as if I've heard that smoking has the potential to open the door to other uses of drugs. I mean, it starts with smoking quite often, and secondhand smoke can lead to someone to become drug oriented. Is that?
The thought on that is that, you know, particularly the younger age kids, you know, if they get started smoking, the thought is then, and it used to be so much that it would be smoking, then the marijuana, and then the whatever else. Well, now it seems like marijuana's been passed, not a lot of stuff. And so, yes, you're exactly right. That's kind of the theory on that, is that's kind of how that progression would work.
Right. So I think you got to think not only today, but you got to think about the tomorrow and the potential of someone getting hooked, if you may, that would lead them down a trail that we don't want to lead people down.
Does anybody know, ask anybody in the room, does anybody know anybody that smoked and that led them to drugs?
I don't,
No.
and I worked in toxicology for many,
I never
many
did.
moons.
Nope.
I
I
can
don't
see,
know.
I can understand the correlation. Generally, if you have kind of a kid that might be a little rebellious, starts smoking a little early, and then it kind of leads them into other things. But I don't see it as big of as an issue, but
Normally THC is a gateway drug, not a nicotine cigarette. It's just fact.
it's the,
I mean, you know, if anybody can tell me somebody that's led them to drug use, I would love to know it for real. I really would.
that's just one of the
Well,
possible thoughts out
Judge,
there.
to be honest with you, I don't know anybody that uses drugs, but there's a lot of folks out there that our paths probably haven't crossed, so. There's somebody out there using them because there's people dying every day from a drug use.
But they started doing that by smoking?
I don't know, I can't prove it. So
Well, I mean, just the amount of people that die from cigarettes alone. I mean, my aunt died of COPD. My daughter's grandmother's probably on her last leg because of COPD. They smoked all their lives. So it's not just, it's also hopefully helping people, not just secondhand smoke, but it's also helping people to actually give them the ability to say, hey, it's gonna be a little bit harder to smoke in here. So maybe, you know, maybe smoking's not as big of a deal for me. Maybe this is the thing that kind of helps me finally put out that last butt and not do it again.
Jason, it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
I'm sorry. If you do an ordinance where they can't smoke, if they smoke, they're gonna smoke somewhere. And most people that's got issues, you know, that got it, lung pressure, cause of it, is they smoke at home. I mean, they smoke it, one right after another, you know. I mean, I've had uncles that did the same thing, but you couldn't get them stopped. I don't know what it is. I mean,
Oh, I agree with,
the doctor's telling me it's
on that
killing
piece.
you. If you don't stop doing it, it's you know,
gonna kill you.
you ain't gonna live much longer. And they'll go right back and just keep on smoking.
I agree with what you're saying on that, 100%. I mean, nicotine is such an addictive type thing. I mean, people get start smoking, it's difficult for people to come off of that. And anything that ends with an "ine" almost, caffeine, nicotine, all those kind of things. The difference to me is that it's not so much that they're going to smoke at home or in their car or outside, wherever they are. It's just smoking in public, private type businesses where other people are. And to me, that's the difference, because then that affects other people in that establishment. It affects other people that are using that establishment for whatever reason, whether they're eating or shopping or whatever that is. And to me, that's the difference in it.
Well, really, I think what really hurts us is, you know, businesses in Danville, they got a no smoking ordinance. But just like you said, you walk out the door and they're smoking right outside the door.
But they're not. If you tell them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but Walmart's not telling them. I know a lot of places, I mean, you go to some of the restaurants around here, they're smoking right outside the door.
Right at the door.
Nobody in management goes out and say, hey, you're gonna have to get 10 feet away from here. Well, if they did that, they're gonna lose business. That's just,
I think
that's just what it is.
somebody, it's probably debatable, but, and I don't know this to be fact, I'm just making an observation, that I think it was Wanda's in Junction that closed, is that the name of the place?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
They closed
The fact that
because,
they
not
smoke,
because of that, they closed because of
Well, they're for rent, they
COVID.
lost their lease.
okay, I got that.
You know, they couldn't
That's
pay
not
their
the
lease
reason
no more.
why, but I would think that if they were the only smoke in place restaurant in Junction, that their clientele would have been reduced by the fact that people didn't want to participate in that,
Yeah.
in that environment.
Well,
And
the
they had
people
the
that
choice,
didn't
they had
go.
the choice to go in there or not go in there.
But they're not the only place in Junction. Shellmark, they have food in there, they smoke in there sometimes. And that little
But Hardee's
place.
does it?
No, Hardee's does
Hardee's
not.
doesn't.
That place right before you get going down to Shelby Street,
On the left.
on the left before you cross the tracks. And they have breakfast and stuff in there and they smoke. But that's probably the only,
That I know of in
the
the
only
county.
places that smoke in Junction is probably them two places right now.
I don't know of another place in the county that does, you got it.
Yeah. So,
So thanks for bringing those to light, because I didn't know about those places. We were kind of scratching our head that there weren't any, but now it sounds like we have about a good 3 of them out there that do.
And I think Hardee's did it on their own, didn't they? Didn't they used to smoke and the owner there
Yes, yes.
decided not to
Yeah, I
do
mean,
that?
they haven't smoked for
I
a
believe that's how
long,
that
long,
works.
long time now.
He changed
I
that
think,
rule.
I can't remember.
But,
Well,
I
and
mean,
that-
with my constituents in Junction City, in my area, I can't vote for this
I can't either.
because
Well, luckily, we got 4 others that can.
I'm just telling you it's just my position in this. I cannot vote for it because they're not gonna agree with me on this. So.
Give him my number, it's fine.
Well, and I know, the way I understand this process down the road, if you all decide to go farther, I think there has to be readings of an ordinance that Chris Aaron would have to work on and all that, and I think there's 2 readings is the way the process works.
Yeah, we can't vote on this today anyway.
Well, what we can do is we can put something forward that says we'd like Chris to start an ordinance.
Could we not ask him to put some thoughts together and?
It's already ready to go. He had it last time we started talking before COVID. So it's ready. We just have to look at it, maybe update it, but he's worked with UK Health. He's worked with our health department here. He's put a lot of time into an ordinance that will greatly benefit Boyle County. We just have to be willing to put it forward.
I think we need to get it and look at it. That's my recommendation.
I would
We'll
agree
go
with
from
that.
there.
Let's do that. Let's get it back on the table.
We'll
and,
put it on the agenda to present to the court that proposed ordinance next time.
Sounds great. Thank
Hey,
you.
I appreciate you guys, always appreciate it, no matter how the thoughts go back and forth, I do appreciate you guys.
Can you give us a
looking at it.
30-second on COVID? I know you
Yeah.
gave a good presentation last night at the City Commission.
What Doug Thurlman, who is the top CDC guy who's placed in the Department of Public Health, he represents Kentucky. What he's looked at, he thinks we're at the peak right now, and looking at the Europeans, kind of what they're always a couple weeks ahead of us, that we should start to be coming down this side like this. Now, I don't know, my hope would be if we would go down as steep as fast as we came up, but I don't know it's going to be like that. But if you look at just the sheer number of people infected, just in Boyle County, you would think at some point between vaccinations, people not vaccinated who now have it, who have some immunity, that surely we're getting to a point that we're close to coming down that other side. And to my knowledge, I don't know of another variant coming behind that they're super concerned about yet. My assumption is there'll be more variants down the road, but the state hasn't
Seems
told
like
me.
there always has been, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Just like the flu, there will be.
Yeah, there's gonna be variants.
well, we hopefully are moving from pandemic to endemic
Yeah.
state with this information that you're.
They're saying if there's any more variances comes down, it won't be as strong.
Hopefully not.
It gets weaker every time it comes down, so.
And this one, that's kind of what, for the most part, has happened to this, but here's kind of my last parting thing on COVID. Because we see all the death certificates, most of them that come across and stuff, and the severe COVID cases. And you can on almost every one of those cases that are truly severe. There's some that have none of this, they just got that sick. Most of them are obesity, diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, high blood pressure, and about 2 or 3 other type things are those personal health things that those people that have those that get COVID seem to really, really struggle. And those are the ones we see in the hospital a lot. We definitely see those things on the death notices that come across our desk. And probably, sorry.
I
No.
apologize for interrupting you. I just wonder, I see a lot of times when someone dies, and I know of a particular case or two, and they say they died from COVID. I know well that they didn't die from COVID. They died from heart attack, or they've died from blood clot, or they've died from something else. But it wasn't COVID killing, but it sounds good to say that.
Well, the state, and I'll give you an example of a little bit how those numbers work. Of course, there's a state committee, and I have nothing to do with that committee. I don't know who's on it, but there's a state committee that looks at every case that is coded as COVID as far as a death. And then they go back and make a determination, was it actually COVID or not? So if you look at Boyle County's numbers, and I didn't bring them, but on December 1st, we had like 96 deaths in Kentucky that we've had over 2 years. By January 1st or 15th or something, we were up to like 118. Well, I don't really think we had 20 people die of COVID in a 3 or 4 week period. So usually what happens is we had some probably died, but then that committee had gone back and looked at some of those other cases and said, yeah, this was COVID, or no, it wasn't. So anytime you see kind of a jump in our numbers, usually that's what it is. The committee is just now catching up and reviewing. I understand what you're saying. I've had that discussion a lot with a lot of people, and I'll be honest, I don't have a great answer to that one. That one's...
Well, they found out a lot of these numbers is inflated quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
There could be some of that, but I do think the state is really trying to figure out on the COVID side, you know, what really does constitute a COVID death and what doesn't. I do think they really do try to do that. But as I've learned with COVID, man, in the last 2 years, there's stuff I thought was true yesterday and it's not true today. And there's some days I struggle to even figure out what the numbers are doing and not doing and all that. So I understand what you're saying. All right, any other questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I may deviate from smoking.
Yeah.
Years ago, the court was supportive of Brent in starting up the syringe exchange program. And we haven't had an update because we haven't asked. How's that going? And
Sure.
it was growing and doing very well last time you talked to us about it. Would you kind of bring us up to date, sir?
It has exploded during COVID. I'm shocked. I thought it would go totally the other way because we now do it on that outside door, so people come to get syringes are literally standing in our front parking lot or right off the side of it. And I have been shocked. I'm pleased because people are still coming. They're bringing people with them. Our numbers are big, and I even had those, and I'll have them at my board meeting today. I didn't bring them. The numbers are really big. We're one of the biggest counties in this area, which includes, we're in the Fayette, and we're not as big as Fayette, but we're one of the biggest counties as far as number of needles given out clean, number of needles brought back in, like that. It's all day, every day. And I would love to quote you a number, but I know I'll quote you wrong. But Merle just ran that report for me. And I tell you what, I'll try to send it out to email, or I'll send it to you, Judge, and if you do that.
Yeah,
Or
that'd
the
be
one
great.
you get today.
I'll put it in the packets for
Great.
information for everybody.
I appreciate it, because that's good numbers that you can see.
There's another part of the program that has always impressed me is that they are open, unfortunately, your patients, I guess, whatever you want to call them, they are open to you about what they're going through, and you're able to give them some answers to help them find help, to help them. And I don't think many would connect the two, that the opportunity that your folks have to be able to help these in that way is to show people where they can find help.
Yes, and the report that I give the judge will actually has that on there. The other key pieces that have happened during COVID too, HIV and Hep C testing has increased in that program. And here's the one that really bothers me, and I know you all have looked at this extensively with the homeless population. The amount of people that Merle feeds out that front door now is astounding to me. And the truth of the matter is, no matter how many of these people Merle arrested in his previous life, they respect him and they come to the door and they're willing to talk to him. And it's amazing how many of them will say to him, "I'm hungry, I haven't eaten in 2 days." And we keep a whole file drawer full of food now. And it's all kinds of canned food. And sometimes all we've got, he'll hand them crackers and peanut butter. And then sometimes we're loading them up on canned food. There is a huge amount of people that are in that program that are struggling with, homelessness, but being hungry. And I know a lot of the people come to our front door have burned their own bridges, totally get it. I understand that, but there are people struggling. And I know you all are looking at the homeless issue, and I appreciate that.
Brent, tell me, what would you, I know you don't have the figures, but what would you estimate the number of homeless people we have in Boyle County, especially veterans?
I'll say homeless / couch hopping, because there are a lot of people who can sleep on somebody's couch a night or two, and then they're homeless a night or two, but then they're back on the couch. And Phil, I just don't know. I know we've got a lot coming to our door, and our population's 30,000-ish in this county. And I think I've got this number right. We had 647 different visits to our syringe program in the last, maybe the last quarter. It's on that document that I'll give the judge. But if you figure out those 647, that a minimum of 50 of them are struggling with a place to live, what's 50 divided into 647, whatever that percentage gives you, maybe. And again, that's just off the top of my head, kind of.
What breaks your heart is the number of kids that are homeless. School kids that are really homeless.
I can tell you just what happened in our parking lot this past summer. We had a family living, if you've been in the health department, you can drive around back. The way they built that, parking lot's here, building's here, and there's a big grass strip. We had a family living down in that for about 2 weeks with a tarp over them because they had no place to go. about 2 months ago, the Edward Jones building right next to us, the police had to come, and it's a guy we've all seen downtown. He was sleeping up underneath their overhang, and for whatever reason, usually in the mornings he would leave. He wouldn't leave this morning. The lot right next to my office window, which is owned by KSD, where a couple of years ago they found them all living underneath the trees. The guy that lived over there this past year, they finally ran him out. I don't know what the reason was, but he lived there every day. And that's just around my building on 3rd Street. And I have literally seen that happen. You know, the family that was living on our property for 2 weeks finally got in a fight in their parking lot, and Merle had to run them off. I mean, that's what happened. But they didn't have anywhere to go. So, but
Anybody have anything else? We need to
Yes,
move on.
I know, real quick.
yeah,
Brent's a real important key to the ASAP program, and I want to let these be passed around. These are people who come to the ASAP meetings and report, and they are the ones who offer help to those who need help in this area. Many of y'all probably don't know that these organizations do a lot of good to try to help folks who have issues. You may have somebody come and ask you. I found this in the library. Kathy, I guess, has arranged to have them in the library. And I know you had a lot to do with putting this list together. It's amazing how many groups that you've never heard of are involved in trying to help those who are hooked on drugs. And they generally show up at the ASAP meetings and give their reports, and
they absolutely do.
Yeah, but a lot of homeless are not on drugs, I assume, aren't you?
Oh, not every, you're exactly right. Now, not everybody's on. Some of them just lost a job, some of them lost whatever, but there are a lot that are.
But you look at our detention center, and what has, Brian said, 85 to 90% easily have a drug issue that in his detention center. So it's not the homeless as much as it is probably those who get in trouble with the law end up out.
I think this court is very sensitive to wanting to help the homeless population. And I'm a little bit frustrated, and I don't, in that with this sub-zero cold temperatures we had lately, Brian Caldwell, our emergency management director, has reached out through Shepherd's House and others to put flyers out to make people aware of a warming center in the area, and nobody's taking advantage of it. I'm frustrated with that.
We've done that for the last 11 years. I thought it the other day. We've had a minimum of one warming center per year open, usually out with Katrina out at
Right, exactly.
And I tried to think out of 10 years of doing that. Some years we do it 3 or 4 times. I can remember one time we had 2 families come for an hour or two because their electric was off and they needed a temporary place. I spent the night on cots in that building. Katrina's been there, and you're exactly right. It doesn't. I don't know how to help it.
I don't know how to.
It has to be more of a, problem is it can't be temporary. You kind of have, a lot of these places, like if they leave their encampment, their stuff will get taken. Or somebody else might come in and move in on their stuff. You know, if we talk about the encampments that are behind AutoZone, that are behind Walmart, and various places all over the county, it's like, if you leave your place for the night to get warm, when you come back, it may not be there for you anymore. You know, so there's that issue. But Phil, I was going to ask you. I actually saw this the other day when I was kind of over in that area. The building where Helping Hands is that their whole building, or do they just have an office there?
Oh, we just have an office.
Well, what's in that building? Is it just a church, or?
Oh, I don't have no idea what's the rest of it. It belongs to the city.
Oh, does it?
What building is that?
You're talking about
the church here on 3rd and Broadway.
Right
there across from
church.
Right across from church. Yeah, Charlie Ford's.
You're talking about on the corner?
Yeah.
Where our office is?
Yeah.
Nancy Davis owns that building. There's and to answer your question a little better, we have a small office there.
Yeah, I saw the door.
And then there's a church. I'm not sure they meet there. I think they moved to there's a church across from the hospital.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's in there other than us. And we only meet, once a month.
So I think the answer is having, and I think this is what the Housing Authority is working on in Shepherd's House, is having something more, I don't want to say long-term, but something that's established.
Something like that'd be a good place for homeless.
That would be to give them a couple days to kind of do whatever they have to do, and then maybe have housing authority, someone start working with them, Shepherd's House start working with them to try to get them. I mean, it's always little baby steps, you know, it starts, you gotta.
Well, I think it's a shame that we have any veteran that was
Yeah.
homeless. But I
Agreed.
think we need to take care of a veteran better than that.
Well, by the way, while we're on that, because I don't want to belabor the point, we need to move on, but with regard to veterans, I will say that ASAP is going to take that issue up very specifically, and we've given her some reference point names to coordinate with on how we can help improve those outreaches to homeless veterans in the community. So we really appreciate that focal point.
Brent, we appreciate you.
Hey, thank you
Thank you.
guys.
Don't,
And I-
don't get mad at me and Ronnie because we're
No.
opposing
No.
what you're presenting, but.
No, I understand. There's
we
different
just feel-
opinions.
I think Ronnie, I'm speaking for both of us, Ronnie and myself, and I don't need to speak for Ronnie, but I don't think that our constituents, mine and his, which they run pretty well together, are really, I don't think this smoke-free thing, the whole county will over too well.
They thought in Danville and Perryville, but
I would just encourage y'all to go through the process, look at the ordinance as what Chris Herron has written up, and just kind of walk through it like that and see where you get with that.
I've forwarded it to Julie already, and we're gonna have her
Okay,
take a gander at it, and then hopefully we'll have something for the court.
okay. And just holler at me anytime that you have any questions.
You do a wonderful job, and the county's fortunate to have you.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
Even
it.
if we don't,
Hopefully-
even if we don't listen to you.
That's,
Hopefully I'll be able to see you at 11:30.
Great.
I'm not sure I can
Okay,
bet on
so-
that.
Yeah.
that's all
Oh,
right.
We'll get him there.
We'll get you out, Judge.
We'll get him
Start
there.
using that gavel.
Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
thank you.
Thanks, Brent.
Judge,
Send Trille in if you would.
Judge, reach me your gavel, I'll take care of it for you.
No, you're the one we need.
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good.
Good.
Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so I am presenting the first fourth quarter report that we do. And we went ahead and did our amendment to the budget where we went over in some of the line items so that we could go ahead and give you a little better view of what it looks like as far as excess fees for next month or 1st of March. So like I said, just fourth quarter report's all it is, and then I just need to get the amendment for the changes in the receipts and disbursements approved.
The amendment is the first page.
Yes, this page, yeah.
And so we need to vote on the approval of the amended budget and accept the budget as presented.
Yes.
Make a motion.
I
Except
second
the
it.
quarterly report,
Okay,
yeah.
motion made by Atchison Short and seconded by Magistrate Salmons to approve the amendment to the fourth quarter, or to the annual budget.
Yes.
The annual budget. Any questions or comments about that for the treasurer, for the clerk?
Just, where in the budget does it list like boats and planes in here? Is it broken down or no? Like, so if somebody has a plane they need to register, they come to your office, register the plane and pay taxes on it? Or is that all tangible through PVA?
Plane taxes are paid to the sheriff's office.
Okay.
Yeah,
This property.
yeah, we do boats, but planes are sheriff's office. Yeah, they go through PVA.
RVs
We do RVs.
and four-wheelers.
Motor vehicle licenses and taxes is where that will be listed at, under license and transfers. Little over there. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, any other questions about the motion to approve the amendment? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, sir.
And we,
Thanks,
the court does acknowledge and accept the fourth quarter budget as presented by the clerk.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much. And Missy, you'll get me the signed copy. I will. Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
ma'am.
All right, y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, next, we have Mr.
Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.
Webpage guy.
We were talking about you today.
I know, I heard you. You all forget that I'm up here listening.
Here's everything.
We put it on that TV.
This is, everybody, does everybody know Bill Nichols or, okay.
What's his name? Bill will tell you why.
20 nickels make a bill. That makes it easy to remember.
Sir drop a lot apparently these days.
Yeah, well, you know.
Oh,
Oh, happy
wait,
feet.
no,
All right.
no,
That's
that's
right.
there.
No. That's what I was asking. All right, on Thursday, come on, computer. There we go. On Thursday, January the 20th, I can't remember the password, so it's gonna take a few minutes. We launched our new website, BoyleCountyKY.gov. We have, it's still obviously in a whole bunch of development. Underneath your government, this is where you can get your addended minutes county calendar, which also appears on the first page, which will have events here. I also have a community calendar that I want to add to this so that, you know, art events or anything, those people that we support or that the community is interested in, that we have a full-blown county event calendar.
Like Brass Band Festival and stuff like that.
Exactly. We also have, and anytime you go back up to this, it'll take you back to the home page. This will also have a pretty complete county directory, so that if you wanted to get a hold of one of the magistrates, you could come here and either email them or call them, something like that. But it also has, Judge wanted to be sure we had a good directory for everybody. So there's a lot of stuff out there. It's still early, so it has a lot of development to go through, especially with getting with the CVB and getting them involved. That'll be fun. One of the things that you can also do a how do I, for building permit, or if you need to contact the county sheriff or different things like this. Underneath the community, it has the different links to the different places around Boyle County. So at this point, it's just a question of getting in there and using it and telling me what you want. If you see something you don't like or you don't want or you do want, let me know.
I like that page there.
One of the things that, and as we get more pictures of the county and stuff, that will rotate through as it refreshes. And the people that are out there, I mean, you can go to BoyleCountyKY.gov and get to the site, but I've also got the old domain, the BoyleKY.com. If you happen to go to that old site, it's going to immediately redirect you to this one. So you don't have to remember anything new right away.
That's how I got here.
Bill?
Huh? Yes, sir.
Whether it's a constituent or the battlefield with an event that they already have planned for April, which I know about, are you the gatekeeper for anything going in, and no one else can access it without your being the gatekeeper, correct?
At this point, that is correct. I hope to, Julie and I are going to sit down and go through some training so that she seems to be the PR communications person, and I would like to get her involved so that she doesn't necessarily have to wait on me to get something out there. But yes, right now I have total control of it.
My concern is others out there who might do harm by putting things on.
No, we do allow on the website for people to create an account and sign up, but that is strictly so that they can kind of customize what they receive in an email about notifications of different things. If you want to know that you're getting notified for a...
They can't make changes to the...
No, sir. This is strictly so that they can customize their experience on our website, not add anything to it.
So that's going back out to them, not them putting input.
Correct. Now, somebody could submit something to me or Julie and say, hey, I would like to have this posted, and then we'll go over it, review it, and if we deem it worthy, then it would be posted on the website.
Take a real quick, Bill, to where the magistrate's page is, along with mine, the judges, as far as the pictures and stuff under government. I think it's under government.
It's under government, and they go, well, I'm not savvy enough yet to do all this.
Now, you see the different, and scroll down, then here's everybody's pictures with phone numbers and emails and contacts like that. I've seen some other web pages in other counties, and what I would like to consider with y'all's approval is an enhancement of the short 4, 5, 6 sentence paragraphical bio of each person. What, where, you know, what you've done, who you are, what, you know, what you bring to the court, that sort of thing.
One of the things
I think it would be good just for the allow the public to better know.
That could be dangerous.
It could be. It could be.
One of the
I hope
things-
it's not, but I think it helps improve, you know.
One of the things that when you come here to the staff directory, if you go to this part here, that white space right there
You mean the
It's
gray
perfect
hair?
for that.
is where a bio goes.
Yeah, that's perfect for that.
So that way you can have your little set, you can just talk about, you know, why you took this job or your credentials for this job or whatever you wanted to talk about or relay to your constituents.
That's
You
the
can put it
perfect
out
spot
there.
for it, yeah.
But that's how that's designed. It's, that white space would contain any bio information that you would like to include.
I just see some people missing on here, so I see Missy's information there, but I don't see Julie or Darlene on there, so I think it'll be good for
if
people to get to know who they are as well.
Well,
I want to write
Yeah.
Julie's.
when you heard it,
He said 4 lines.
if you go to the staff directory and you go to the fiscal court, you have to click on the county administrator to get Julie's information.
And that's where you put a paragraphical.
You know,
Now, you've got our cell numbers, but they're not on here, correct?
That's under more information.
I think that's probably what, on there, but they are on there, you just gotta go underneath their
If you
heading.
click under where it's got your address, it says more information, you just click on there and they'll have it.
And what about accessing the visuals and audio of our meetings? Is it easily done through this now?
Well, yeah, it'll link you to YouTube or
Basically,
whatever.
there's a link right there in the center of the thing, it says video court videos, and it'll take you immediately out to that, and I turn that on, but then it would start feeding back and doing crazy things, but as you can see, there's our current meeting that we're in right now.
Yep.
And this is what your Boyle County media page looks like on YouTube.
How far back do those videos go?
As they go all the way back from when we did the first one with the announcement of the COVID restrictions.
So they're not back to us coming into office 3.5 years ago?
And I
No,
appreciate
just when we started taping them.
the pulse of the people being up there too, because that is not political. That is a county outreach that we all participate in.
Absolutely.
But they are, every video that we've ever produced since we did that original video in the library about when COVID first hit, about what we were gonna do as a county, is on this channel. I can't remember. But you can go through and there's some of my experiments, I guess.
Online
because I'm not
payments.
signed in, that's why it's not
Yeah,
showing.
show them the
Can we
online
talk
thing.
online payments real quick? So what do you envision being there?
That one I'm probably gonna have to leave up to Julie.
Dog tags, hopefully taxes, license,
Taxes.
contractor license,
But that's gonna totally depend on,
payroll and that eventually.
the Kentucky payments that we're going with, because right now, the only thing I can do with them is link them here, and then this will take them to their site, which I've gotta get with them and get all that done.
So you
Ordinances?
So, as soon as we get copies together or whatever that we can put out there, absolutely. I mean, we can put anything out there we want, so.
If we could do taxes on there, that'd be great. Stop worrying about all these cold checks we keep getting.
But yeah, I mean, that would all depend
That
on,
was the reason. Yeah, it is.
I mean, right now, what we can do with it, with the payments and stuff, is I'll direct them to our vendor. And then on the vendor site, we'll have whatever they can do there. One other update that I wanted to give you is on the iPads. I've been trying desperately to try to get those to where I could be a better administrator of those, but that's not working out. So what we're gonna do over here in the course of the next week to 10 days, if you all will call me and set up an appointment, try to allow a couple hours, except for maybe you Apple savvy people, it may not take that long. But what we're gonna end up doing is creating a work Apple ID, and then we'll go from there. But when those start getting distributed, you'll have your email, and then we have other avenues that we can also pursue with those in the future for communication efforts with your
Those
constituents.
Apple IDs should probably just be like, kind of like where we did the emails, District 4, District whatever, so that way if somebody else comes in, they can easily just reset the password and
Right.
move on.
Just set a day to do the training.
But just wanted you to know that I had been working on those, and I apologize that those are a little bit late, but apparently getting them to remotely administer is a pretty good project.
Wouldn't it be, tell me why this wouldn't be the way to approach it, to have everybody pick a day they can come in and spend an hour, whatever necessary to go through to be able to give them the iPad.
And that's why I suggest a couple hours to set up and do it, because what we'll do is we'll actually take them out of the box and set them up and go through that whole process.
Hands-on is always the best way to go.
Absolutely. Give everybody hands-on to do that. Once you get it in there and with your Apple ID, there is going to be some automatic things that it will do, because I do have some control over it. Like if you would lose it, I can wipe it off of, I can wipe the county information off of them. If you forget your ID, that's a whole nother ballgame. That's something that we'll have to go through when we cross that path. But
I can allow my hour to some others that might need it.
What we'll do, I'll get Missy to send out to each of your emails or a couple of dates and pick one, and then Bill, we work that around your schedule.
Absolutely.
To come in and do right here and go through the training and the issues of the books also.
But you'll be issued an iPad. It'll also have a case with a keyboard, a Bluetooth keyboard. I did get a pen for them, but they're not the Apple Pencil, because they were a little more difficult to pair up with those iPads. And then I've also bought a, it wasn't very expensive, but I bought a charging cable that will charge all your pieces with one plug into that Apple piece. It'll charge the Apple, it'll charge the keyboard, and also the pen. So that way you don't have to have 47 different cords. You can just use the one.
That's nice. It's really nice.
But I think it'll be, and then
You'll
get your
appreciate
emails
that.
there. And at some point we can even look to putting Ring Central on there, to where you'd have your own county extension that people could call you if you wanted to, if you want to go that far.
They call my phone.
I don't like the way you've got the phone set up where I try to call the judge, I go through 6 numbers trying to get him.
I'd like to see that.
Anything simple.
You dial
than that.
extension, yeah, when it says new party's extension, you go 118.
Yeah, and then you
They're
can't get
heartbeat.
him.
Yeah, but you go through a whole repertoire of getting there. I'm kind of Phil on that. It's cumbersome.
I call a cell phone.
As soon as
The
it
first
gets
thing
up.
it says is if you know your party's extension, dial it now.
Right.
118. And you can look on that index right there and get the extension to anybody in the county.
Yeah, it just bypasses all that.
Yeah.
118 is her, by the way. You can get to talk to her if you don't know that.
Yeah, because Missy wouldn't let me give you the real number, so.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
are
The
we going
gatekeeper
to
right there.
have, are we going to have an alert system to evacuate building?
That's something that
Is that-
we could put on there where it flashed up on the screen, Bill. We've talked about that way back. That if there is an incident in the courthouse, that we can send out a message.
There already is on Ring Central
that's where I
a
was
text
thinking it was.
message to where it's the Boyle County team that would go out to everybody that has a Ring Central account in our organization.
We've talked about that through the years of having something.
So
to
maybe
alert.
we can alert everybody and exercise that just to see what, that everybody gets it, and how it comes into them.
One of the things that I'm finding with Ring Central is a lot of folks aren't using it to its full potential, especially.
And I'm probably guilty of that myself.
Well, just in the fact that once you have the application on your computer, if you send out that text message, unless you go and you're checking your app every day and look at those text messages, you won't see it. So there's got to be a way to do that. But there is the ability is there to do what we want to do.
Right.
It's just a question of the due diligence of the people that have the app to do so.
How much you want to use it?
Yeah. But it's all a learning curve. I mean, this is, when you're going from analog to digital, it's a big learning curve. So, but once we get running and going with it, it'll be good.
All right, anybody got anything else for Bill?
Anything
That's
else?
pretty good.
So our internet at home does not have anything to do with this?
No, sir. The iPad you were beginning will have cellular data unlimited. They can also be used as a hotspot. So
Which is
if you
really
have,
good.
Forgive me, but I might be the only one in the room. What is a hotspot?
A hotspot is something where you can tell the iPad to broadcast its presence in your home and somebody can say, oh, I see that network, I can connect to it and get on the internet.
It basically makes your iPad a Wi-Fi, and so you could.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, there you go. Better
It gives
terminology.
you enhanced receptibility.
So you're saying, I'm sorry, Judge.
Go
You
ahead.
can't get a
So
signal.
you're saying regardless of the internet service we may have now, that make any difference?
It doesn't make any difference.
That's
because
right.
This is all done by cellular.
So wherever you are, wherever you are.
Wherever you are, I'll say within the United States anyway.
Just like our phones.
Exactly.
Yes.
But it could slow down your performance on your iPad.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to use that all the time.
No,
And
I
it'll also
understand.
be dependent on where you are. I mean.
Absolutely.
You're
Just like you have spots where cellular service is rough, if you had your iPad in that spot, the internet service would be a little rough as well.
All right, now that prompts a question. I'm in Perryville, talking to the mayor, and I have that iPad. Because we have such terrible service out there, he can get on his computer at City Hall in Perryville and glom off my Wi-Fi, your
Yes.
Wi-Fi.
Yes.
He could, yes.
Good, okay, because that's gonna help, because they changed carriers for their problems out there.
They did. They and actually I was helped them with that, and they went to a Spectrum line, and that seems to have improved them tremendously.
Again, I wouldn't do that too often.
Well, I wouldn't, I mean,
Yeah.
we meet, our meetings out in Portland, for example, where it really is.
Yeah, that would be something. Definitely, what I would do at some point is when you have time is go out to Forkland. Once you have your iPad, go out to Forkland and see how it performs.
And let their chair glom on with his
Right.
computer.
Just see
next
how
to
it performs
If you
before
wanna
you
try
get
that, that's
into
the way to do
a
it.
public
You may not
situation.
get service out there in Forkland, what he's saying.
Yeah.
I thought this was gonna be so universal that
You
we.
have to have
It's as
signal.
universal as your
signal.
cell phone.
So if your phone doesn't work in Forkland, this computer may not work in Forkland. Because it's all running through.
It has a
Same-
better chance of
same
working because it's
cellular.
first net.
Yes, agreed.
It has a better chance of working because it's first net.
It is
That'd be my
first net,
first
not-
experiment.
but it would definitely be something that if you're planning on a meeting or doing something like that, definitely test it before the meeting. Make sure you know what's gonna happen when you get in there and start doing things.
Judge,
But I would say over
next,
90% of the county, it
ask the
should be
people when they're
good.
out there.
I'm sure this is a secure site.
Tom, that's
It's
gonna be
first net.
worthless for you.
It's first
Not the
net.
way they sounded, no.
All right.
And I'm gonna learn from you, Phil.
Well, both of y'all are
That's
trouble.
That's why I said I'll off my
What
time
could
to y'all.
possibly go wrong there?
Nissy will send a couple dates out and everybody respond back to her when you can come in and sit down
Sounds
with
good.
Bill and go through this. The sooner the better, right? Next week or 10 days?
That'd be fine with me. The only thing I have really on my agenda right away is tomorrow morning at 10, I have to be out at the jail to discuss how we're moving forward with finishing up the cameras and getting the old system out.
That's
and the new
very
system
important.
in. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You keep going. Trading is Thursday, does that sound?
Yes.
Is that gonna be set up in here?
KMCA,
Yes. They're gonna be set up. in
hopefully.
here.
Dang, I'm not sure.
That's,
I don't know. I'll ask Lauren today and see if she'll set
You
the
talking
link
about
up.
tomorrow,
and we
John?
can-
yeah, as long as you give me the information, we can certainly set it up as long as
Thursday,
there's nothing else. Sure.
Thursday, that text that, JC
JMCA.
sent out, 9 o'clock.
See, I don't
10
get
o'clock.
those. I don't think I get
Well,
those.
there's training like we did last year.
right.
9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11
We need to
o'clock,
decide.
three classes.
Yes, we did.
We need
Yeah.
to be signed up.
I don't know, did you tell me to sign up?
I don't think so, because it only got sent out last week.
Okay, I
Late
can
last
set you up. I
week.
think I've set
You
up,
got me.
and Jason, I think I've got you stuff.
Say, folks, it's worthwhile.
I need to.
They need it right here. Yeah.
A lot
I'm
of
gonna talk to
legislative
JC
discussion.
about,
Yeah.
he needs to check with us at Keiko, because I've got an all-day meeting Thursday. We have a luncheon for the representatives. I have a luncheon over to Capitol Forum, and that'll last from 11 to 12:45, and then we have a meeting that starts at 1:30. So I wish he'd check and see what kind of coordinate this. I'll check with him.
You talking about JC? You talking about JC check?
Yeah, I can't attend any of these meetings because a lot of times he's line them up at the same time we're having other meetings. So, I'll take care of that though.
That sounds like a personal problem.
So
But yeah, that won't be,
everybody
once we get.
They can't keep up with the
What's
president's
that
schedule.
time on that Thursday?
I think it's at 10 a.m. I think it starts
10
at
to what?
You're talking about
3
Thursday, it
hours.
starts at
3
9.
hours.
Make it easier, I'll be driving a bus.
Is it 9 or 10?
It's not, I think
Oh,
typically
no.
it's 9, 10, and 11 are
Right,
get
that's
started.
that's what it
It's
is.
3
That's
hours.
what it is.
9, 10, 11,
9, 10, 11.
on Thursday.
But yeah, we can have that set up.
Saturday.
Will you sign me up, please? Pam?
Yes, I'll
Even
do
if it's
that.
5 minutes.
I don't think there's any reason why I can't come at that time.
You're bringing donuts.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
So it's
I can do that.
KMCA, right?
Don't forget the box bill.
Did I get points for that? I get points for that if I said
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Don't really need them.
Y'all have anything else for me?
no,
No,
thank you,
sir.
Bill.
Good
Thank you all for all you do. We
Thank
appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill.
Send in Duane.
Dwayne,
Almost took a nap there, Bill.
Wayne, is anything you can get that door to, so it won't slam so hard?
Yeah, maybe,
It's
No
got,
guarantee.
it's got a closure on it, you can tighten, make it close.
sometimes.
Yeah,
They haven't already been adjusted beyond.
those are like those felt little pads or the weather strip
You
kind
can
of.
look for that.
Yeah, Thursday's 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12.
All right,
All right, 2 items on the agenda. We advertised for bids for vehicles. Sadly, we did not receive any bids for the 3/4 ton truck,
sadly.
so I don't know what we're gonna do there.
Shockingly.
But we did not receive any bids from that. We only received bids from one dealer. We received bids from Stuart Power Ford for the half-ton truck for the Public Works Department. You have, I think, copies of all 3 vehicles that they bid. We were looking for something on the lot and to see what kind of prices we could get. The 2022, all 3 of these are on the lot, and which we didn't know yesterday when the judge and I were talking about this, but they are on the lot. And you can see the discount. We still were able to get the bid concession on that truck on the 22 model. So the total price of it was $46,039.
Oh, that ain't upside down.
The price on the 21 was $45,000,
Man,
and it has a few miles on it. And then, of course, the 20 model was 43, almost 44,000, and it's got over 12,000 miles on it.
Comparable equipment?
I think so, from what we can tell. Judge and I talked about going with the 22, since it's available and it's new, with the concession you're getting on it compared to the others, but we're talking about that $2,000 difference between the 2 of them, but from one to the other.
What do we budget for these?
We budgeted 45, and I do have a couple $1,000s left in that line item from the long arm equipment that we bought, so we have enough there to make the purchase on the 22. But, we can purchase any one of the 3 within our budget line item.
And the only one with 0 miles technically, I guess, is the 2022.
Right.
what about environmental, solid waste? Do we get any bids on trucks for them?
No, we
I
didn't.
thought we was gonna run.
We did. We received no bids on the 3/4 ton pickup truck.
They need 3/4 and we got.
Yeah, I know
no
we need
bids.
3/4.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean tell me 150? Is that kind of money?
Yeah.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's scary.
I only was scared worse than that is a used one.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's almost that much. So, crazy.
Why would you not get the bed cover?
Sure.
Why would you not get the bed cover? I see that it's added at the bottom.
It was, we don't need it.
Okay.
It's just
Why
part
would
of
you
the
need
price,
a bed
it's the
cover?
initial price. And you see, we removed it, if you took it off, it was 45 versus 46 if you left it on there. We don't use a big cover.
What is that on the 22? I forgot.
That's on the 21.
21.
Yeah.
So the recommendation is to go with which one now?
22.
22.
At
Why you talking
44.5?
about $3,000 difference in a used truck and a new one?
That's great. We just got
Crazy, isn't it?
46 on 39.
46, so third version of Omnicom.
Okay, okay.
They just put it, they'll be putting out there,
Yeah.
new version of Omnicron reported, dubbed the Stealth Omnicron.
Well, I make a motion, we get the new truck at 46,039.
Second.
So
Motion to,
is this got extended cab on it?
Yes, crew cab.
motion to
Crew cab.
approve.
Well, crew cab's only
Are you going to help him?
The crew cab's
Ronnie,
only
you going out to help him?
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, time out. Questions and after we get a motion and a second, which we've done, then we can discuss openly. All right, so we don't talk over each other. So we have a motion by Magistrate Gay to approve and seconded by Magistrate Cullen to approve the purchase of the 2022 as presented on, bids. So now we can discuss. Thank you.
Why 10 speed?
That's just a standard. That's a
10
standard,
speed?
standard automatic, yeah.
Never heard
That's just a description of it.
Save gas mileage is what it's for.
You got to pedal.
Starts out at 4.
Part of the time, that's what fuel those gears are.
That's only 10 speeds I know.
Guys at Old Castle,
Oh, yeah, my buddies.
they want me to give that to you.
So the price as presented on bid was 46,039 even. And he has it in the budget to cover that. Any other comments or questions? Now's the time.
Nope.
Explain that battery to me, I don't understand. Hybrid battery.
All of what?
Especially the water.
Hybrid battery.
That's what they're making these days. I have no idea what that is. That's
I
brand
don't know
new.
either.
8-year battery.
And I think that's,
amazing.
well, now that's not the electric battery. They're gonna start making the electric batteries down below E-Town. And the new plant up is down there.
But a hybrid battery.
No, where it's supposed to be. We're making them.
You don't wanna go buy one of them.
No.
Okay, anybody else?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
What's the delivery time?
It's on the lot.
It's on the lot.
Pick it up tomorrow.
Pick up the check.
It's probably
You
only
approve,
for
did
like.
you approve, did we approve your
motion?
Did we, yeah, we better approve payment.
Give it.
All right,
Yeah, I can include that in the
well, let's
motion.
add it too as a second because we've already voted on it.
Okay.
Okay,
All
so
right, I'll make the motion to approve the
motion
payment.
to approve of pay on delivery
Second.
made by Magistrate Gay, seconded by Magistrate Cullen. Everybody understand what we're doing and why?
Yep.
All right, is there any discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries.
Thank you. If we didn't do that, it's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
It'd be gone tomorrow.
Make a phone call right
Oh, but
now.
when you leave.
When I leave, I will. The other item we have is just permission to advertise for bids for stone and for asphalt, which we do each
I'll make
annually.
that motion.
Second.
All right, motion made by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by Magistrate Ellis, to approve the bid on stone and asphalt. Request a bid, excuse me, not approve, request a bid on
Yeah,
stone
we'll
and asphalt.
bring them back to you next meeting, I hope.
Yeah. Any other discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
All right, very good.
All right.
We've been out 5 times so far this winter, plowing salt. So far, all of our equipment is holding up. Everything's
Maybe
running.
salt supply doing.
Salt supply's in good shape. And so we've had 2 deliveries and very timely, so it worked out great. So we've done well. We've been fortunate in the way we've been able to fight these storms. And so we've, I think, kept our public pretty happy to be able to go when they need
Seems
to.
that they are, and that's what I've heard and others have heard the same thing.
And so we have another storm coming in Friday and Saturday, so we'll see what we get there, if we get much or not. So we may be out playing in the snow again.
Just real couple quick things while Duane is here. I've asked him to do some research and find out some information about a light at the entrance to Taylor Road to help illuminate that intersection at night to help reduce the potential for traffic accidents there. It would be an additional incurred cost for us to assume that $25 or $30 a month of providing electricity to that light if we can do that. But I've heard from several area residents out there that that is a dangerous intersection at night coming across that hill from the bridge, and I can see that. So And the other thing is,
Right in the curve.
excuse me, yeah, it's right in the curve, and coming down that hill in the blind to the right.
Can we look at something possibly that has like maybe a solar attachment to it?
We can look at that option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See if
We'll
it justifies
We'll
it.
check next door and see what they have.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah, and then the other thing was, just real quick, we went out yesterday and did some measurements on a potential, which Ronnie was with me on Saturday, of maybe looking at seeing about the pin ventilator building in Junction. And we went out and we kind of brainstormed movement of space and stuff like that. And it would give us a great deal more operational space than what we have right now. So I don't have anything more to report. We have met with the owner of the property, okay? But we've not discussed any kind of price, because that's just not where he is right now. But as soon as we can, we're gonna head down that road, just see if it's even reasonably within reach.
Lease option to buy, what kind of combination?
Well,
Is it for sale?
don't know yet. Don't know yet. And,
It is, the price just doubled.
At least one comment about the lease. If the lease, he'd have to be willing to let us do a lot of stuff to that building,
Too much, because
because it's gonna take a lot of work.
it's just gonna double our price.
Versus if we purchase it, then we do what we
We've
want
been
to
sitting
with it.
empty so long, that's one of the reasons.
well,
Yeah,
no,
let's kind of move on right along.
well, go ahead, Jamie.
And this is another just issue I'm hoping maybe you can help with. It's a state road, I believe it's 3rd Street, it becomes 33 as you're going out of town. It changes, the speed limit sign changes at what used to be the old city limits, where it goes to 55, and then you still got to go in front of Danville Christian Academy, and it seems like we need to ask the state. It seems like to me the speed limit shouldn't go to 55 until you get past the roundabout. And so now if you're coming back into town, you go through the roundabout and the speed limit changes to 55. The 55 mile per hour speed limit sign is literally right in front of the entrance to Danville Christian Academy. And it just seems like that should be 45 at the most, right there. So I'm thinking if we could make it so that from the roundabout in, it's 45, and then when you get to city limits, it becomes maybe 35.
It's my area.
45 all the time?
Or at the city line, it should, or the old city line where it now says it switches to 45, that one ought to be 35. If you drive out there, you'll see it.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about, but my question is, 45 all the time?
I wouldn't.
Or just, right, because there are flashing lights out
Yeah,
there.
and I think
and reduced
when
speed.
school is going, it ought to be a reduced.
Well, it is now.
I don't think they have flashing lights
Yes.
at DCA.
Well, yes, they do. And they got them. I don't know how they got them, but they got those installed.
I haven't seen them either, not unless they've just recently been
I'll
installed.
double check because they're there.
Okay.
Maybe it's just a sign.
Okay.
I'll double check.
All right, yeah.
I'll check.
But I think we need to look at that.
And maybe the reason they got them.
I just drive that a lot going back and
I
forth.
mean, unless they're not working, there were there.
Where's the flashing light? Where is it located?
There's one will be on this side of the radio station as you're going up the hill. Now, I was coming into town, I don't recall. I'd have to go back and look on the one coming into town.
I don't believe there is one.
There might not be from the traffic.
Okay, well, look at the
I think
speed
there's
on
one
that
out.
section, yeah.
Honestly, though,
If there's
as
not,
close,
then- but the
as
school had to
close
pay
as that
the
is to the roundabout, the state really should realize that bumping the speed up to
Yeah.
55 at that point is not a smart move.
Yeah.
So,
But we can write a letter to that effect and request that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to 45?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go out and look at it.
35?
Yeah, it's whatever the state thinks, but you got a school there, you've got kind of that blind hill as you come over, and you've got now just with Colonial Heights, or I think it's called Colonial Heights? Colonial Heights, with all of that being there, there's just a lot more traffic, and it's 55. It's designated as 55 through there.
Yes, it is.
Before we lose Duane, I want to first say, because I had it down in my notes at the end, but while he's here, his updates on Facebook were critical. I jumped onto him as well, shared what the judge and he were talking about, and the number of hits I got, not just in my district, but all across the county, were huge. So please use Facebook that way. Do the same thing when alerts like that, any kind of communications are going on. I see you shaking your head over there.
I'm amazed at the speed of how you, like, I'll look at something that just popped up and you've already commented, put a picture on it.
That's what a retired guy.
I'm amazed at how quick you are with
I
Facebook.
don't understand why he put a picture of his red truck on it.
You like that truck?
No, it's a Ford, I
Well,
don't have one.
I'm not on Facebook.
Part of that credit needs to be shared with Julie. Julie's gonna post it, I just share the information.
Well, I used yours, and
Okay, the text message I sent out.
Duane,
And that was
on
important.
a positive note, I personally want to thank you and your crew for the job that you've done.
The crew.
This is just amazing. Pass that word on to them.
Yes.
That we really speaking, I'm not speaking for the court, I'm speaking for myself.
Yeah.
That I really appreciate the job they've done, and I'm sure the whole court feels the
They
same.
put in a lot of hours the last 2 or
Yes,
3
you
years.
have. And
Absolutely.
without any, I don't reckon, I haven't heard of any accidents,
No.
that's any bodily
We've been
injury.
very fortunate.
Yes,
And
so pass
the
that word on.
the first go around, we had some mechanical issues, but we got those solved. In the last few rounds,
We just
done
don't,
very well.
sometimes we forget this and overlook to thank people for doing their job well done.
And it gets frustrating to them, when you do have breakdowns, and then they're not out doing their route,
Yeah.
and so.
Well,
and
something they can't help.
They're very dedicated to their jobs.
Yes, they are. You've got a good crew.
Tough on them when things like that happen.
While we're reaching out to the state, one quick question, something I was actually gonna talk about later on, but light timing, so on traffic lights,
The route of the state.
in other places I've lived, there's a lot of times there's a delay from when it goes from, like, when it turns red, and I'm thinking right now of the intersection right in front of Cattleman's, where we had a lot of accidents.
Uh-huh.
So the light goes red, on 150, and so that people coming out of Cattleman's or coming off Daniel Drive there, it's green like that. And a lot of places have gone to where there's actually like a 5-second delay between the red and the green. And is there a way that maybe we could kind of talk to the state or whoever's in charge of the lights in those intersections to see about putting a delay in there to kind of slow things down and stop getting those traffic? Another big one is 2168 and 127, where people are flying down from, like, say, Harrisburg or heading towards Harrisburg, and they don't realize the light's there and it's a little too late. So
Really, the only way you can delay that light is caution.
Well, no, what happens is, so the other side doesn't turn green as soon as the other one turns red.
Okay.
It turns
One side's
red.
doing something.
Okay, that's.
Turns red,
Yeah.
and then the other one's still
Yeah.
red, and then it waits like 5 seconds for it to turn green.
The longer your caution's up there, the more they're gonna run through it.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I think that's a good
I know
point.
what you're asking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because-
I didn't know it was doing that.
Yeah. No, just delaying from dropping the green.
I don't understand, but you're exactly right. I seen an accident there last week.
Yeah.
Somebody just pulled out. My gosh,
Yeah, you don't want to jump any of those green
why do
lights.
they,
Right.
I don't understand it.
No, I don't know.
They're
Yeah,
running-
all it does is it stops, like, where we turn red, like, at our
Yeah.
intersection. The other one doesn't turn green for about 5 seconds. So it gives everybody time to reset. Thank you.
Well, I've been out there a couple of times on early mornings when the road crews go out, and I talk to them, and they're all very dedicated. Y'all know that.
Yeah.
We experienced a repair on one of our big trucks where that plow broke underneath. Did that get fixed since I saw that last, where it broke
Yeah, we
again?
had a local guy come and weld it for us.
And
fix the
welded
problem.
it, so that got fixed?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's just a matter of the company not knowing exactly what they're doing. They
got
bolted
you.
it, and they bolted it, you've got weight that falls forward, the bolts will just run this way, so you know what's gonna happen, the bolts are gonna twist. There was no bolts running the direction of the plow, so.
That's why we need
We
to
fixed it.
very
And it
good.
worked great since then,
Thank you.
so.
All right.
One comment, today, we are, and I don't know what the right term is, mentoring or observing, but anyway, we've done this now for 5 years. We're observing the Boyle County High School's chemistry classes presentations on salt.
Wonderful.
So we're kind of providing an audience
That's
for
good.
them and giving them feedback as well. So that's what's going on today. That's why I won't be at the board.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, Blaine.
I'll carry on your torch at the, if I can get there.
Thank you.
He's getting there, we're getting there.
All right, thank you, Dwayne.
What's he gonna be doing?
We've got a meeting at
The health
11:30, we gotta
board,
get.
he's on the health department
okay,
board.
all right.
We gotta get him there.
All right, next we have Derrick Robbins, Sheriff.
Derrick Robbins,
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy.
Really, this budget's about the same as last year. It's actually about 200,000+ lower than last year because of the COVID camera money, because we had to put that as a receipt and a disbursement, it was a wash. But everything else is honestly the same as last year.
How's your overtime compared to last year?
I don't have last year's in front of me, but I think we were somewhere around about 27,000, and we budgeted for 50.
I know a long time ago, you had problems.
Oh, we were at 100,000.
Yeah, you had it.
We were at 100,000. So that's in good. Part of that is because the courts have been closed down for so long. Now the courts are back open, so we're got guys going to court. And
one other question I have, if I don't mind, Judge. I know we've got a higher gas bill. Do you get a discount anywhere on gasoline, or where do you buy your gas?
We have the fleet cards, which we have throughout the county, and we
buy it anywhere.
Wex cards, yeah, fleet card. Typically, we get them at Speedway and 5 Star and most of the places, but I think that they give us a general rate. Is that not right? Is it? They give us a, so really, they just pay like a wholesale price for what we get. So the prices are relatively the same. Our fuel's up right now. At this point, I've talked to Darlene about it. We've got guys at night that are doubling up, so we're not having 2 cars on the road. We've only got 2 canines. We used to have 4. So those cars aren't running the whole shift. We only have 2 cars that are running the whole shift as opposed to 3 or 4 when we had.
So that'll cut down on the gas.
That's cutting down.
When'd you start doing that?
Well, after I had my meeting with Darlene, it's about a month ago, maybe.
A month ago.
We've only had 2 dogs for.
Well, this gas bill's
Several
highest,
months.
one of the highest I've ever seen. So
Yeah, and I mean,
I know gasoline high.
we've got one, we actually have got a vacant spot that we have not filled specifically to try to work. So we've got one less car on the road than we had, actually, that probably took place in August or September, I guess. So we're gonna have some excess fees. I think we're gonna turn over around $20,000 to make up for our shortcomings in the budget. I mean, gas prices have just doubled compared, when we made our budget, obviously in April, gas prices were over $1 cheaper than what they are now. And so we didn't account for that type of inflation. And now the courts are back open and the civil processes are starting. So we're serving a ton of papers and transporting prisoners again. So that, accidents are increasing with the bad weather. We have a lot of accidents. We do typically for Boyle County, but our call volume overall last year was down slightly. Honestly, it was down
You
slightly.
have off subject, you have a lot of accidents. I know you work them in the Perryville area, but I see ambulances go by my place all the time. I mean, must be an awful lot of accidents.
A lot of them are rear end collisions.
Is that
People stop to turn left and, they
a lot of them
aren't paying
Perryville Road.
attention. A lot of the
Parallel Lebanon.
inattention people on their phones and, not paying attention most of the time.
It's that tour coming by your house. They're like, oh, there's where Phil lives.
We need to approve this budget.
I like your jacket you're wearing.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is the, yes, we do.
I'll make a motion.
Motion to approve the sheriff's budget.
Second it.
Made by Mexico and seconded by Short. Is there any other questions or comments or discussion?
On this now.
Everybody well?
Still got one out with COVID.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, the motion carries. If you can take just a very little bit of time, if you're willing to let the court know what you have in front of you. As far as you are being in and out and around.
Oh, okay,
and out
okay.
and whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. Monday I'm having shoulder surgery. Rotator cuff, probably bicep tendon, and maybe labor, and they couldn't tell on the
MRI.
MRI.
It's not worth it, don't do it.
He won't. No, no, believe me, I'm already nervous as can be.
Having it done here or election or?
I'm gonna do it here, but I'm probably gonna be down for a little while, and luckily I don't have a too strenuous job, so I can
get back maybe a little sooner, at least work a few hours a day or somewhat, you know, to be out. But from what I understand, it's a pretty,
2 months.
pretty excruciating
Do not,
rehab.
I've had all three of those. Do not take any, like, don't think like, oh, I'm feeling better, I can do this. Take every minute. Who's it, Dr. Keys?
Dr. Keys.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But just do everything they say.
I don't do it. I'm
I had
a baby
him-
when I get the flu, so I can only imagine that I'm gonna be.
You'll be uncomfortable, but
This is gonna be bad.
I messed mine up. They had to go in and repair it because I was stupid.
Echoing Magistrate Cullen, both brothers have had it. One brother didn't follow the regimen. He had second surgery.
Yeah, you'll,
So
your
follow
recovery
it.
will be twice as long.
I'm dreading it, but it's been something that I needed to
What
do.
caused your shoulder? Lifting weights?
I've heard it 2 or 3 times working, and 2 or 3 times. It's not a workman's comp claim, but it's just. I mean, I played sports all through high school, and I think it's just probably a degenerative thing that's gotten worse over time. Now I can't. Yeah, now I can't really. You know, it's uncomfortable to sleep. I'm uncomfortable to do certain things, and I need to get
Right shoulder.
right shoulder. Yeah,
I've seen them lift at the gym. It's not bad.
I've been practicing shaving my head left-handed. It's not doing very well. I may come in with a mohawk.
Hey,
You're gonna have to wear your pistol on the left
A
side.
left side, I know. Yeah.
Sometimes just
the worst
repetition.
is number
work.
2.
Yeah, I know.
Gotta learn
Yeah, I
it.
haven't practiced that yet.
I still haven't.
I'm
gone
afraid
back.
to. I might end up growing a
What
beard.
about your employee that got COVID, and was he around other people, or how
he's-
many you got quarantined, or what?
Right now, I've just got one, and he's been off for over a month. He had a pretty bad spell with it, so we're hoping to, you know, get him back. And he's one of the school resource officers, so it's kind of got guys, you know, spread thin in the schools and things like that. And you know, hopefully, we're on we're at the peak, and it's going to start going downhill now. I think we're getting close to it anyway, from what I understand.
But all your people been vaccinated?
The majority of them have, yes. Yeah. I don't know all of them, but a lot of them have, yeah.
Real quick, have we voted? Have we voted?
No.
Did we vote? Was there any?
Yeah, we
On the
did
salary
vote.
cap.
We did vote.
Did
Is
we?
that correct?
Missy, did we vote?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Judge has already signed it.
Sleep.
Okay. I'm just enamored by looking at you, Phil.
We just got.
Hey, Derrick,
We
can
haven't
you,
voted then.
guys, we actually do have a pretty,
We made a motion. We haven't had-
oh,
Oh, we did not vote?
see,
then?
that's what I thought.
I'm
Okay.
short, we didn't vote.
See, look at that. It's not just the hair I got.
I'm sorry, I was just.
No, you're okay.
I
All right.
didn't remember.
We have a motion, and it was by Magistrate Gay, I think. Who made the motion?
Cullen.
Cullen and
Cullen made the
Short.
motion. Is there a second to the motion to
Yeah,
approve?
Short.
the
I made
motion? Ronnie Short, okay. Now that we've refreshed our memory after all of that exhaustive discussion, is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor of approving the budget as presented by the sheriff for 2022, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and that motion carries unanimously.
Only for,
I was thinking about you this morning when I was watching the news. It's startling to see the number of police officers that have been shot. You've
Yeah.
probably seen that on the news, was it Baltimore yesterday?
Yeah,
or-
yeah, yeah.
They have shot 5 officers and killed 1, and the other in critical condition. They don't really gonna live around.
And that's why on night shift, it's not hurting my feelings too much having some guys double up because you got somebody with you all the
Right,
time.
yeah.
Becomes an issue whenever we have more than one call
Yeah.
at a time. But, you know, it's just one of those, it's the trend, and, you know, we try to adapt and
I know when I was on the
Figure out.
committee, we had a lot of domestic, you still have a lot of domestic.
oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's, I don't think those will ever go away.
Yeah. We all just be careful, I know you are, but my God, it's scary.
Thank you.
The number of police officers that were killed last year, it seemed like every year it keeps
Yeah.
going up.
Yeah, I think there was in 400 to 500 range, and we still have a poster up in there that they pass out every year, and it's titled Under 100, and the goal is to try to have less than 100 police officers die in the line of duty, and then, you know, we're at 400 or 500, you know, it's just.
Derrick, do you still encourage magistrates to ride with
Sure.
police officers?
Anytime,
If you haven't,
anytime.
it's very interesting. I did a domestic call. In fact, that's when I really got to know Derrick. When you're in the car with him, you get to really.
you got a whole different idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sat out with Ren one night. There was an accident up on Lancaster Road, and it's pitch dark, and he was out there by himself it was a single vehicle accident, and I just hung out because, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the gentleman that had the accident, but there was a lot going on, and another car came around not paying attention because the lights got hit or whatever, so I just hung out. So I'm glad to hear you're doubling up and letting these guys.
Trying to.
Yeah, I mean, when you can. Hey, well, I'll real quick because we're I guess coming up on 11:30, but can you give us a real quick synopsis on the problem we're having with constables again? Because the court really needs to know about this. We actually need to discuss this and come together on a decision here because it's getting dangerous and bad.
I was actually off that day. I had a minor procedure done, and dispatch had called me and advised there was a pursuit of some type with a Nissan Altima with blue lights in it, chasing a car on 127. And I said, we'll just let the guys know. They're like, we don't know who it is. We don't know what it is. They thought they knew who it was, but there was no confirmation. But evidently it went up and down 127, and there at the end, the vehicle that was pursuing with the blue lights just turned off and left. And the other car continued north on 127, and the citizens were calling in, saying, what's going on? This guy probably needs help. I don't know who it is, whatever. We weren't aware of it. Ultimately, they observed the car pull into the Walmart parking lot, and there was never any radio communication that had occurred. There was never a phone call to dispatch or to notify other people on duty that was going on. And ultimately, the car was stolen. There was a stolen handgun in it, and there was over a pound of drugs, methamphetamine, heroin, and maybe something else, I don't know what it was, in the vehicle. What makes that even worse is, first of all, he was pursuing, and this person was armed with a stolen handgun. He could have shot, nobody would have known. But second, there could have been somebody kidnapped in the trunk. And that constable never even called it in. Never said, hey, this is what happened. I got in over my head. You might look for this car, nothing. So when that car was parked unoccupied, they ended up finding the female that was driving who was outside the car because the witnesses still saw her. But there could have been someone kidnapped in that trunk, and if a witness wouldn't have called it in, they could still be in that trunk for all we know. They could have just committed a homicide with that stolen firearm, and that would have cleared the case if we would have caught him. There was, not to mention, he could have got killed. Person being pursued could have been killed, or any innocent bystander not looking for a maroon Nissan Altima chasing a stolen car. Okay. That's just, our policy even says, if you are not in a police vehicle, you don't pursue. That's against every policy of every law enforcement agency I've ever seen.
Do they have a separate policy as constables?
I have got a copy of their policy from what I could tell through the Constables Association, and that was a violation of their policy.
Bring charges against them.
I don't know. I can't for a policy violation. But,
well, let's do something.
And I can't he has the same powers I've got. I just have a lot of training.
Well,
what
the fiscal court can do is we can pull their blue lights. We can allow them not to chase. We can still let them do their constitutional duty on serving warrants and assisting in other things.
Glenn Don and I have had discussions about it. And what I don't want to happen is I don't want all of them to be penalized because they assist us, especially Buck Sawyer out in the west end of the county. We don't always have somebody in that far end of the county.
That's for sure.
And he has, he's been trained in emergency driving. He's helped on tons and tons of things.
First on the scene last year on a fire and saved a life.
I don't want this to reflect as all of the constables, but honestly, what happened that day was completely unacceptable. Not to mention, it never called it in. Even if you get in over your head, you can at least say, man, I screwed up. This car ran from me. This is where it is. I'm just going to turn my stuff off and keep an eye on it, but somebody needs to check him out.
Derrick, I thought that we voted as a court a long time, I'm talking about several years ago, that they was not allowed to have blue lights. Did we do that? John, did we do that?
It sounds familiar.
I don't recall.
I don't for sure.
I don't recall.
How far back, guys? Because
I'm talking about
before the
years. It's been
12 years
before this court.
Pretty good year.
I talked to Jack about it at some point because I wanted to get his take. Jack magistrate, and also is very volunteered with the police department for years. And he had said that there was a constable before that was problematic. That I guess he'd come in and had a conversation with the previous judge, and that seemed to alleviate the problem. I don't think that's going to be the case this time. So he didn't say anything about the blue lights being removed.
Seems to me like it we did. Derrick, you don't remember anything
I don't
about it?
remember, I don't.
It might have been before you became sheriff.
Definitely before.
It's been a while.
I
It
don't,
has, been a
yeah,
long time ago.
I don't recall it. I'm not saying it didn't happen, it's, I mean,
I'm not
entirely
saying
possible.
it
but I-
definitely did happen, but it seems to me
Yeah.
like it,
You know,
seems like it
If
is.
we had a year or a couple of years, we could go back and check the minutes
No,
and
it's been longer than
see.
that. It's been-
No,
that's
it definitely
long.
wasn't with us.
No,
Was it,
no, no.
was
And
it
this is your
Tony?
first go-round.
Was it Tony, or was it Harold, or
I'd
what?
say, I think it's Tony. Don't you think so?
I'm not sure, so I'd rather not say, but it's been a good while.
Yes, it is.
There is something going through the state right now where I think they're going to try to make
offer
them,
some training.
some training if they want to have those kind of things or whatever.
It's available, but the ones that are there now are going to be grandfathered in, so they will not be required to do that.
Ah, okay.
And your
But-
problems, correct me if I'm wrong, Sheriff, but the problem guys are not going to attend any training. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to him in a long time. I know that there's been discussions between myself and him, the police department and him, on some of the things that he's doing and offering some suggestions on how maybe he could do it different or maybe not do some of the things that he's doing. And ultimately his response is that's what he was elected to do and that's what he's going to do. He's not open to
Any
suggestions.
Yeah.
You know, like with Buck in the western end of the county, if I ever have an issue with him, I can say, Buck, man, hey, man, this is what happened. All right, buddy, I won't do it. I mean, he's as receptive to suggestions and whatever as anybody could ever be, and he's never been an issue. I mean, really not. I mean, things may arise, and they come to us because they think they work for the sheriff's office, and that's not the case. But I could call Buck right now and say, man, I need some help. Bam, he's right there. You know, and he's there the whole time.
Yeah.
Sheriff, with my understanding of law enforcement, then they do have your same powers, correct? We do not need to remove their blue lights because there is no way that you or your spouses want to be tagged by somebody who doesn't have their lights but they're flashing behind you trying to get you to pull over without blue lights. And I think you would agree with this. If you or your spouse are out there and you're concerned about the area that you're in, you'll follow them till they go to a lighted area without any further arrest or anything like that, because we do not want Buck not to have blue lights out there.
Well,
because it's so remote that somebody might wonder who it is and not law enforcement and cause even more problems. So,
And I agree with what you're saying. I think the discussion is what he created was just
Totally different.
A totally dangerous situation. If he doesn't have blue lights, he can't make that. He can't do that again.
and it's not just removing the blue lights; it's removing the ability for him to pull people over.
And,
Is what it is.
and if it doesn't keep him from being able to patrol. If he sees a violation or something and he wants to act on it, call it in. We'll stop it, and he can address it however he sees fit.
Constables
So,
don't have radios either with the sheriff's department. They just have to call everything.
They actually do. They do. The city gave them a special channel.
Oh, a channel.
A channel on their radio that allows them, if they were to pull someone over, that dispatch can be notified that, hey, I'm stopping this car, this tag, this place, and that way if something did happen, they have the
I just
ability.
think the state needs to address this so that
we've been trying
the training needs to match the powers. And if they have the power without the training, that's a dangerous.
Well, it's currently in
It always
General
has
Assembly.
been. And that's something that the county could consider is obviously the people that are constables now are not required to attend that. It's for new constables. But
make it mandatory.
the county could make it part of that if you are to operate this specific set of equipment, you have to attend this training prior to.
Right.
And those are things that you could implement. You know, I I mean, it's not gonna go away.
It's like this, if you take the blue lights away from that, that takes a lot of their power away.
Yeah, it takes a lot of the opportunity out to create circumstances that don't.
If we had a vote on it, I would vote to take the blue lights away.
Well, that's what I'm hoping that we can do is ask Chris to kind of see if we can either take the blue lights away completely, or if we can just kind of push, if we have a problem with a certain one, if we can just take their blue lights away. I don't know if you can piecemeal it or not.
You couldn't discriminate that way, just.
That's what
I know one time, for years, our association, the Managers Association, have tried to get the legislation to do away with the constable's job, period.
It's constitutional.
Could you not restrict it based on a disciplinary action by the court on a specific person?
That's what we'll look at.
I mean, that would be my suggestion, as opposed to doing it for everyone, because
Absolutely.
I don't think that is a problem with everyone.
No,
Glenn Doan we've exchanged emails and we've spoke several times, and he'd be happy to explain some of the instances that they have had interaction and in kind of the same response. Well, that's what I was elected to do, and that's what I'm going to do, as opposed to taking it into consideration and changing some practices that may make it safer for everybody.
And one of the things that worries me is, just like in this instance, you got a Nissan Altima with lights trying to pull you over. That really can scare the person. Like,
That's my
wait,
point.
am I getting pulled over by an actual police officer? Just in Mercer County, I think they had one where some guy was pulling people over because he had some fake lights on his truck.
That's right.
And it didn't get down into here, but it was going through Mercer. As a father with some daughters, that's a scary thing to have just anybody running lights.
And I'll be honest with you, I know that the pursuit itself was bad and dangerous, but the fact that it was never
Called
recorded
in,
is something that.
Did you ever hear back from them? I know you guys tried to call them.
Nope.
Never.
Nothing. Dispatch tried to call him multiple times. There was never a response. And I mean, the fact that someone could have been in there needing assistance and were held against their will, and it was just never reported, period.
Or even somebody just shot in the back seat that they didn't know.
Yeah.
Bill, this would be a question for Keiko. Had he wrecked that car with his car, does that come back on us and our taxpayers here?
It'd be covered.
Yep. He's
That's
an elected
deadly,
official.
literally a deadly serious thing, because without the gun involved,
He's
he
bonded.
could have been killed or killed the
He is
person.
bonded as an elected official.
That's right.
Yeah, it's worth really digging into this thing.
Yeah. We'll see
And
what Chris can
disciplinary
say
action.
and Julie comes up with for next meeting. I'd like to.
I won't be here because I'll be out, but I could have Glenn here.
We might want to do that if this is to continue.
Possibly have Glenn here.
I wasn't really expecting this to come up today
Yeah.
because it wasn't on the agenda, but it was brought up. And
Sorry, Judge, I brought it up.
No, it's important.
Judge, that discuss, Phil, is that discussion that the county would not pay for blue lights if somebody wanted to put it on there?
No, they pay for it themselves.
They have to.
They
We
pay
don't-
for it
we don't
themselves.
pay- We don't pay for it.
Pay for
And
it, we
that-
still,
I think that was a discussion years ago.
well, it was, and we just, best I remember, we didn't allow them to have blue lights.
Yeah, I don't, as long as I've been in law enforcement, they've had them,
Yeah,
that I can recall.
I was thinking it was Carl, the sheriff,
You
but
got
I'm not
you
sure.
get some constables that don't want that. Like John Turner, he doesn't. I don't think he's got lights on his truck, and he just wants to do the little
And he's a,
things, and he's an assistant when the sheriff's office needs him.
he's a super nice guy.
Right, exactly.
Thank you, Derrick.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you,
Sorry.
Glenn Doan, D-O-A-N, he's the assistant chief over at Danville. Him and I have had discussions about it.
So
He actually,
we'll reach out to him next time we have a discussion on the issue.
okay.
Thank you, Derrick.
Yes, sir.
You be careful.
Yes,
Take
you
care of
will.
yourself.
Tell everyone I said hello and appreciate
On
it.
your Intel, on your Intel at 1600.
It's filed,
Okay,
done. Yeah,
okay.
so,
Be safe. Let us know if you need anything.
thank you all.
Thank you.
See you.
Derrick, well, give
Good
me
luck.
give me a call.
All right.
Thank
Good luck
y'all.
on
See
that.
you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck. Yeah.
All right, next, Miss Angie Muncy.
She's
She may have
coming in.
given up on us. I don't know, she's still here.
Better last.
You didn't give up on us.
No, the best for last. No, Mike Rogers is after that.
She's glowing right now.
Mike Rogers.
I'm always
See you.
glowing.
She's always glowing.
I'm always glowing.
I don't think Mike's on the agenda.
He's not.
Nope.
No, somebody said they wanted him to come in for
Yep, we got something.
something.
Yep,
But
thanks.
anyway. That's
I don't
not my
know anything
circus or
about
my
it, so
monkey, so we'll do
I don't know
mine.
anything about it.
You're not
Okay.
on the agenda, I'm leaving next
New
week.
business. We
All
talked
right.
about it, Judge.
I have a situation. I want to hire a part-time person. He is autistic. He's what they call high function autistic. His name is Andrew King. He came to us and I guess sort of wanting a job, and I think we could use him. We interviewed him, we talked to him. I talked to Phil, talked to Ronnie. What I like to use him for, because he has his driver's license, he's capable.
As a high school education.
I would like to use them as teach them maybe like for shredding purposes or something like that. Teach them, to use that where I can have it more up here, more at North Point, and get more done with it instead of taking my other workers that I desperately need, because I'm still short a full-time person. So.
Is this a position we've advertised for?
I've advertised for a full-time, but not for a part-time.
Have you discussed it with our new HR director?
I've talked to Shannon. This would sort of happen before it was in the process as he was taking over.
I'd run it by Steve. I don't know, I just think.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure we're doing it correctly. I'm all for it if he's a good qualified person, but I think we gotta make sure we do it right and advertise and do all
Well,
the things we're
I
supposed to
think he'd be
do.
a hard worker. I've known his family for a long time. And, his grandfather, if you have a problem.
It falls under the other one, it falls under the recycling worker. Falls under the
So
same
you have a
thing.
part-time job description?
Oh, yeah, we have part-time workers. Yeah, it's not like it's a special field position or anything.
With all due respect, Angie, I would run it by Steve,
Okay.
because someone who has some handicaps, I don't know how that plays
Well-
Well, there ain't no problem. I
in
don't have a problem
whether
with it.
you have to put anything in special writing or insurance. It just might be best to get his opinion. That's why we hired him.
Gotcha.
With all due respect, Angie.
Oh, no, I don't have no problem with that.
The only thing, you're putting him off your health.
Put him off for 2 weeks.
2 more weeks.
We're used to it. But anyway, second, Rita Diane Reynolds is retiring at Forkland. Her last day is the 31st. And I want to fill that position with my first floater that I hired, just move him into that position. That's Sam Edmondson. He'd just be moving into there.
And Sam lives there close, so.
Sam lives close, and it's part-time too, so it's only the 3 days a week, so I'm gonna.
I'll make the motion.
I say.
Okay, motion made by Magistrate Short and seconded by Magistrate Ellis is to move a floater into the full-time position. I forgot, where was it, Forkland or?
Forkland.
Forkland.
And that leads me to hire another part-time floater. Leads me to hire a floater, so.
Well, okay, to backfill that vacancy there, so. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, the motion carries unanimously.
That's all I got.
So you're gonna bring this,
Wait a minute.
you're gonna bring this position back next court meeting?
Yeah.
Well, it
on the
depends on what we
part-time?
have.
That way you gives
I'll talk to Steve and.
Okay, gives you time to check on that.
Okay.
Wait a minute, would it be possible for the court to get approval if our HR person approves it, that we've already approved it, if he agreed with it?
So we
So
don't have
she
to,
can go ahead and hire him.
but do we have to advertise that we're looking for a part-time
Well,
person?
she's got 2 part-time people open right now, she needs help. She don't need to wait 2 weeks. Well, I got that.
Part-time doesn't have benefits, right?
No.
No,
So what,
I don't see any problem.
this is an HR question, but I don't think we have to advertise for part-time that has
We
no
don't.
benefits other than a salary that was
We
within
never have.
budget.
I'm good with making the motion contingent upon Steve
Upon
review.
HR approval. I am too.
And your
Yeah, I
thoughts,
can live
John?
with it. I can do
Your
that.
thoughts?
I'll make that motion contingent upon
I'll second it.
Steve Griffin.
Motion to approve the hire of a part-time contingent made by Master Gaines, second by Master Short, to approve the hiring upon, HR approval.
With an immediate start date.
The immediate start date at
Upon
what
review.
salary was the
It
part-time?
would be 10.50.
10.50.
And the start date will be Friday.
Maybe, just depends on what
Well,
HR
depends
says.
Well, it all depends on Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd want
But it
to
would
start
be-
it Friday with a new pay period, so
Yeah.
that would be the
It would
So
easiest.
you go see him when you leave here?
Does that help you?
To help you out.
If that's what everybody wants, hey, I'm good with it.
Angie, let me know. So-
Okay.
We're gonna vote on it?
Vote.
Yep. All those is there any more discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign.
Thank you.
Carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Another person doing a good job.
All right, now, Darlene.
Darlene.
Have nothing at the moment.
All right.
We have nothing. Okay, we'll go
Getting
around.
ready to start we'll need to get our budget schedule out and together here pretty soon.
We
to
do.
Get on everybody's
What's our
calendar.
committee, there were committee people gonna stay the same this year?
I'm considering, making one switch, but not, mostly everybody's gonna stay the same, but making one switch. And I've not yet had the opportunity to talk with the couple of people that I want to switch, and that's just, I'll do that this week.
Okay.
But I'm not looking at a wholesale change of everybody. Okay?
All right.
And we do need to get our budget schedule out, and we'll start with the jail, and they've already started out there in their discussions already, getting ready for that.
Right.
So, today is committee reports, and if you have a committee report, we'll go with that, and then you can do a district report, we'll go around the room, Tom.
No committee, you want me to just do it?
Yeah, go ahead and do district.
I'm awaiting a date for most of the people out at Portland, so I know that Missy made sure that everybody is aware and getting your dates in. I've already had one in Perryville, so if you want to jump in before that date, please do it. But otherwise, I'll probably have one in February or March at the latest. The only other thing I have is I've been in communication with both KCO and with KMCA on the EMS crisis that would happen if the KHA legislation were to pass. The only thing that I'm comfortable saying today is, and Julie, this is new since you and I talked this morning, JC wrote me about 3 minutes into our meeting this morning that KHA has temporarily withdrawn the legislation for redrafting. The work of Mike Rogers and his staff and all across the state, they had a meeting with well over 100 people in a virtual meeting right after Mike alerted Jason and me to this issue. And that's how we're going to win the jail situation, Judge, on reimbursement and so many other issues. When an association statewide, 120 counties get together on life-saving issues that we're going to be rewritten and under the control of the hospital association, as much as I respect that entity out there, it's the old Kentucky saying, it ain't broken, we don't need to fix it. That's all I got.
Okay, very good, that's good news, because at 296, I thought.
It's coming back. We'll have
Headed
to
down the
watch
wrong
very
path.
No committee reports and no.
Good.
I'm good.
No district report?
No.
All right.
All right, I'll be quick. We met this morning to talk about EMS, and this is kind of why I asked Mike to hang out. Current challenges that they're having right now: staffing, run volume, and fleet management. At the last meeting, well, I already told you that their runs are up from about 400 more runs than we thought. So this is where we're going to get into the bread and butter. We talked this morning. They're down to 5 trucks right now. One of them's not working, and 3 of them are having issues right now. So we possibly could, if something happened, only have 2 ambulances right now. The ambulances that we ordered are a year out. We're hoping to get them in the fall. We'll see. If we order any more ambulances, they're 2 years out right now. So
this is a bad situation getting worse.
huge. With the exception of 2 units, everything has over 150,000 miles. EC2 has 135,000, EC8 has 88,000. EC6 is, I think cost us about $30,000 over the last several years. So what I'm getting at, we need to kind of tweak EMS. The one thing that they've asked for is to add 2 more EMTs and add basically a fourth shift. That would probably be like 12 to 8. But what I'm asking, and what I would like Mike here for, and if you wouldn't mind grabbing him, we have the opportunity to grab a demo ambulance that pretty much everyone is grabbing up when they, as much as they can, because they know that they can't get any more ambulance, and everyone's got CARES money and ARPA money and stuff like that. So the only problem is that we don't have time to go through the whole bid process, because if by the time we bid it, they'll be gone. We can have one by March 1st. As of like yesterday, we can have one by March 1st. But what we probably need to do, and I've asked Chris about this, I've asked him to check with Rich over at Keiko, can we, through our administrative code, grant General Hunt the ability to use his emergency powers to purchase one of these demos, so that way we've got an extra tool in our arsenal. But then we also need to go ahead and order 2 more buses. So that will be 2 years out is pretty much when we'll get them. So we'll get one fall, and then we'll probably get one in another year after that. But if we wait to July, we're going to be 2.5 to 3 years out at that point. So,
I walked in late. Darlene, what's our reserve situation right now?
Oh, and I don't have my,
well, we do have ARPA money we can use for this.
but yeah.
I've not been told that yet.
Well, okay. I mean,
I've not been told that. That's $500,000 plus dollars. No, 250 each.
What about 225 for one of the demos?
No, we can get a demo right now for about 200,000. But if we go ahead and order them, it'd be probably 225.
So you pay for them when they come in?
The demo that's available right
No,
now.
I'm talking about the new ones.
Yes, yeah. A check, or in the bid process, it says that a check will be issued upon delivery.
How many miles is on your demo, and what kind of conditions is it in?
I don't know the exact mileage on the demo, but the demo we were looking at is a 2022, so it's brand new. It's not a used one that came from a service.
2022?
Yes.
I think we would need to get the information from legal counsel on how we can do that outside of the bid process. Would be an important thing.
Well, he responded back.
Extremely important.
Right.
He responded back. He said we could go through, if we go through model procurement, use 45A-3.80, and we can put a cap on how much he spends.
Bottom line is it can be done.
It can be done. I mean,
What are they gonna do to us if we have disobeyed the order? What would be the rule? What can they do to us?
Well, I think you have to declare it an emergency.
They can't put us all in jail, can they?
At the very bottom.
Not me.
I think we ought to go ahead and get the demo.
Well, you're taking the straight line approach. I don't disagree with, but I don't like coming out of our normal process without true justification that we need to annotate.
I just want to stress, I know we talked to the committee this morning.
let me see, hold on.
I want to stress that I put 12 hours of manpower just last week calling 30 manufacturers across the United States. I found 2 with ambulances, and I was telling the committee this morning, I said they were available Friday morning. No guarantee they're available this morning. One of those 2 that I was talking about sold this morning. So only one of those is available. So if we don't move on
That's
it.
picking up on the mic system. That's picking up on the mic system.
Okay, well, Chris is on with us. He said he can talk with us real quick if you want.
Go ahead,
Chris.
the question about purchasing ambulances through this demo, and I actually contacted Rich Ornstein today, and he was asking us, well, what kind of process do we use in the first place, to purchase vehicles. He's like, do we use as provided in 424.260, or do we use model procurement? We've always used 424.260. That's where you have to do the, solicit bids and so forth if it's over $30,000. So you can't use KRS 424.260 and then turn around and use model procurement as well. You got to use one or the other. So if we were going to do this, we would have to go get the vehicle pursuant to 424.260, and so basically it can be done, but it's recommended getting the fiscal court to agree on this, and maybe agree on a price limit, the high of what you could spend on that. But it definitely can be done, by talking to Rich about this. I think that you just have to specify that this is an emergency and so forth, and the fiscal court could vote for allowing this to be purchased due to this reason.
But what happens to the fact that it's not by the model procurement code that we've adopted under administrative regulation?
I think that, there's either 424.260 or the model procurement code, which is 45A380, and Rich says we have to use one or the other, and
We use 6.0.
Pardon?
We use 6.0.
Oh, we use 6.0. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then you pursuant to that, I think it's paragraph 4 of the procurement code. I think that provides for emergency situations.
Chris, the sale of this one that's left, because there were 2 yesterday, is imminent. Can we dispense with 2 weeks, 2 readings, and move today?
I think if it's an emergency, you can do that. I just was not sure on which procurement or which code we use, because it seems like we send out bids for if it's $30,000 or more. So that's I know we do that. So that seemed like it was we were acting pursuant to KRS 424.260. But then the judge is saying that we don't use that. We use the 45A380. So
No. We
You
use.
got that backwards.
I said you got it backwards. We use 6.0. We use 6.0.
All right. Okay. Well then,
So paragraph 4.
if we use 6.0, then we would not proceed pursuant to the model procurement code, which is 45A380. We could proceed pursuant to 424.260, and you can do that. You're just going to have to, the fiscal court would have to ratify this with, a cap on how much can be spent. But I think, yes, it can be done.
We've pulled up paragraph 4 about emergency declarations here. He's reading it.
Yeah, the part that throws me the curve is the last sentence. The last sentence is that we could do it by filing a copy of certificate with the clerk of the court. But if this is if I'm reading the right paragraph 4, it says something about that certify that an emergency exists and has filed a copy of the certificate, which the court would generate, with the chief state school officer. I don't understand that piece.
Okay.
What is the emergency? That's the question that comes up. Is that what are we defining as the emergency?
3 accidents at one time.
Oh, if it's a school superintendent,
That's
you have to
paragraph
file.
4.
Yeah, you have to file with the school officer. If the superintendent of the board has duly certified, well, that doesn't apply to us.
No, okay.
Yeah.
So is that paragraph applied to us?
Yeah, it says up here, city, county, or district, which would be a school.
Okay, school.
Yeah. That's the way I read it.
Let me read,
I'm not Chris.
Let me read it. Has filed a copy of certificate with the chief financial officer of the city or county, or, okay, when we go from there, that certified that emergency exists and has filed a copy of certificate with the clerk of the court files.
No, I get that.
Necessary, the office expenses are fixed pursuant to KRS 64,345 and 530.
With a lot of miles on them.
There's a bunch of orders. I mean, you gotta do, or the superintendent of the Board of Education has duly certified, so that's not.
It's not relevant.
It's not relevant to this situation, so I think that, you know, if the chief officer of the county has duly certified that emergency exists and has filed a copy of the certificate with the chief financial officer of the city, county, or district. So I think that you just have to file something, you know, you have to file a
Is this any different than the emergency
certificate
repair we did?
with Darlene that an emergency exists, and then
That's kind of what I was thinking.
the fiscal court's going to have to just you know, ratify your decision. I think that would be best, instead of you just, you know, making a decision solely on yourself. I think that it would look better, you know.
Well, I agree. Yeah, for this kind of money, I don't want to do it just on myself. We did emergency repair, but it wasn't, we weren't talking six figures or anything, you know, so.
So just
I think that, you know, if the fiscal court were to agree with you, then, I mean, it just looks better, you know, because if someone in the public tries to say, well, this wasn't an emergency, you know, I think that if you have, you know, approval of not just the, you know, the county judge executive, but the whole court, I think that just makes your position look stronger.
So it is your opinion then, in summation, that the court with emergency powers issued, requested by me and approved by this court, that it can be done to, if the court agrees that there does exist emergency situation?
It can be done, you know, pursuant to that statute and that particular paragraph, so it can be done. It doesn't mean that someone in the public's not going to try to call you out, but, I mean, the statute provides that you can do those things, so.
So we have to identify the emergency, and then if the emergency is valid to the court, then the court will say, we allow this,
authorize
the judge to do this based on, and give them a certain dollar amount. So the emergency, because Jamie whispered over here that we're looking at, is that we're not looking at a vehicle for at least 9 to 10 months is the next time we'll be possibly able to get one of our new vehicles in. After that, it's 2 years. We have the ability to probably purchase one now, but it won't work through the normal bid process because they're gone within 3 days, let alone 30. And then 45 on top of that once they come back before us after it's gone through committee.
Okay, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna eliminate one down the road that we're thinking about buying?
Well, with the fleet status right now, we won't eliminate it until we get some of these other trucks in. We far too often we run with just the amount of trucks that we have. So if we have 3 crews on a day, we have 3 trucks that are running, and that's it. One more breaks, you've got more people than trucks. We can't meet the volume without having ambulances. There's 2 things I always say: you can't fake trucks, you can't fake people. So those are the 2 things that we have to have. So that's where the emergency exists, because we're getting so close to not having trucks available to run in because they're broke down.
Because of COVID, too.
And we would not want to take ourselves out of queue on prospective things 2 years out when we could always decide not to buy them.
Yeah.
So why would you take it out of queue?
You could turn around and sell it for probably more money than you paid for it. But the other thing that they brought up in the committee meeting, which is kind of taking this to an emergency status, and this is kind of like, we need the extra truck to run, also to run the extra shift, number one. But not only is our run volume up, but we have reached out and used mutual aid this year 3 times more than any time in the past. So we're reaching out to Lincoln, we're reaching out to Garrett, we're having them assist. John told us that the other day they had to turn down somebody that needed a ride from like here to a hospital for an appointment because we didn't have the buses available. So in my mind, that kind of sparked an emergency situation that
We don't make runs, do we? Correct me if I'm wrong, just for an individual to go to the hospital.
It's not required, I
it's
don't
not
believe.
required, but we
We do that, still doing that?
Say to go, for an individual to go to the hospital?
Yeah.
Not the hospital, for an
Doctor's
appointment.
Oh, we do some of those runs, yeah, because how else are they gonna get there?
because some of them require oxygen.
Yeah.
They're going from one really bedridden situation where you can't just put them in a car.
It's a medical transfer.
Yeah.
It's
Well, if it's a medical transfer, I can understand, but a long time ago, we used to just pick them up and take them because they're convenient for them. We don't do that, do we?
No.
No, they have to meet medical necessity.
Medical necessity,
Yeah,
okay.
it's a very, they have to have, it's a
Like
very.
he's talking about oxygen or something.
Yeah, no, it has to meet, it's complicated, what qualifies, and Major Wesley is the expert on that, but, no, if a citizen was to call and say, hey, I want to go to the doctor, we obviously won't do that. They have to meet specific criteria.
Okay. What do we do now, Judge? You need a vote on that?
Well, we do. The reason that our county attorney is by phone, so everybody that's watching this on the YouTube channel knows that he is out in a quarantine situation right now, so he's answering the mail for us.
And this came up this morning in the committee meeting.
Yeah,
and I reached out to him to kind of get an idea, like, can we get our ducks in a row in case we are able to bring it up, and so appreciate him.
The bottom line is, in general, if this court accepts or determines that there is an existing emergency situation, according to counsel's advice, we have the latitude under KRS to move and make a motion to accept this.
I'll make a motion that we declare an emergency situation due to EMS vehicle availability and the age of our current fleet in the amount of authorized $210,000 to be spent for an available EMS unit.
I'll second that.
So 30.
Discussion, Judge?
Okay, motion made. You heard the motion by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Sanders. Discussion.
Do we quickly, within a day or two, transfer equipment and get this on the road?
It's delivered March 1st, so we're a month from delivery, which is
Where you
30-fold.
Where you coming from?
Indiana.
My question, Mike, would be, what do we have to add to that 210 to get us roadworthy to the standards that you have?
The only other thing that we would add is the power load system that is already budgeted for the 2 ambulances that we bought, that we won't receive this year, so we'll just switch them around.
So that power load comes in this FY.
Yeah.
We put it on this buggy.
Yeah.
And carry forward.
Yeah.
The shortfall to the.
Yeah.
That and then just striping, just to make it.
Okay, that's it, but everything else is pretty well there?
Should the 210 take care of the striping?
Yes.
I would imagine.
Yes.
Thank you.
It should.
How long does that take? What's the?
Delivery will be March 1st. So we would receive the truck March 1st, and then we'd have to get with who we have striped.
Striping takes a couple of days.
So you would go ahead and schedule that based on the vote of this?
Yeah.
Well, I would call him as soon as I leave here, and then
Please do.
it would be us.
And is it a truck or is it a van, or do we know?
It's a Ford F-450, so it's a truck chassis.
Okay, all right, so what we're looking to switch to.
Yeah.
Everyone feel okay about this?
Can you
I think it's the right thing to
call
do.
and make sure we got it?
Give me 2 seconds.
Well, we haven't voted yet.
Do what?
We're good.
To make sure it's still available.
Wow.
After we lost one a couple of days ago.
It don't make, really, it doesn't make any difference. If we,
They're 450.
if we
If
vote
that
to
one's
do
not
it
available,
and it's
he's
not
gonna be-
available, then it's done. It's,
No, well, we'd still have the option if another one came available somewhere else, which is doubtful.
Yeah, a lot of these demos are just going, normally they would take them, drive them around to the EMS units, but now they're not even getting that far. They're selling.
They're sold off the truck.
What's the situation with this vehicle? I mean, why is it a new vehicle and also a used?
It's a demo. It's a demo.
Yeah,
It's a demo.
Yeah, the salesperson just drives around and says, here, this is our 450 model, this is,
This is what it looks like if you ordered one today.
They go around to sell it.
Diesel or gasoline, or do you know?
Diesel.
Diesel.
Well, they just confirmed it's available, so I'd call a question before we lose it.
Question's been called. All those in favor of the motion as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. We'll issue an emergency declaration, call them, and based on this conversation, and vote of the court.
That's it. Unanimous vote.
Please get on the agenda for the other items for next quarter.
Better go ahead and order those other two, if it's gonna get 2 or 3 years out.
Well,
Let's go. Let's move.
They're already in the
done.
loop.
Well, the other two are not in the loop, but it'd be discussed in the order.
Yeah, so I'm asking
budget
Mike.
cycle.
Okay.
But we can take that up in early part of the budget cycle,
cycle.
just like next court session.
Right. Yeah,
Thank you,
so
Mike.
next court, can you please get on so we can have that discussion too?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you all,
Mike.
appreciate you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Sorry, guys, thank you very much for working with us on that.
Okay, are you done?
The only other thing is that Chris had actually asked me to talk about
I can talk about it.
Okay, Chris can talk about it. About our ethics board needing an attorney. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Kay Schaller, she's kind of the head of our ethics board. She's reached out to me. They at times need to consult an attorney for questions. It's always, regarding, employment within our county, people at the courthouse, people in the road department, whatever. You can cover all that, but there was a situation that came up that they needed me to review something, and I didn't feel comfortable because, it's dealing with an employee that, that you work with daily in the courthouse, so I called Ted Dean, he's the Mercer County attorney, and asked him, the potential of if he could be a special attorney, and cover that for me. He didn't think he could because it's not like I'm prosecuting, and so I actually called the Attorney General's office and spoke with the guy, David Wilson, about this, whether or not that would be something where I could request a special prosecutor to handle, and he says it's not a prosecutable situation, where we're involved in the, district or circuit courts, dealing with, someone being charged with a criminal charge. So after talking to Ted Dean, he advised me that he doesn't even do that with Mercer County's ethics board, that they actually contract out that work due to potential conflicts that the county attorney would have with other employees within the county. And he said that he deals with a lady named Nori Currens. She represented the ethics board there in Mercer County, but she doesn't do it any longer because she's got some kind of city position or something in Harrisburg now, which kind of conflicts her out of that. I just, I touched base with Ms. Kearns, and she doesn't have any conflict with, acting as advisor for our ethics board, if the court would so allow that. She told me, I asked her how much she charges, and she said it's $2.25 an hour, which I think that's very reasonable based on her experience. That's just something I want to bring up to you guys to think about, and we can make it as a new business next time. But I think it's important because, yes, Ms. Schaller was calling me me about the situation, and I really, I did not feel comfortable giving any type of legal advice from one or the other on that. So it's something I'm probably going to be asking at the next meeting if you consider hiring or putting Miss Currents on retainer to advise our ethics board.
Chris, there's no way that your assistant can do that? Your assistant county attorney?
I mean, it's not just the person being like some kind of relationship. I think it's just, in general, I think that it puts the county attorney or the assistant county attorney in a tough position when, you're dealing with someone within the courthouse that you work with on a daily basis. I mean, I think that's difficult, and it just kind of puts you, I think, at a conflict. So I believe that it's most proper to contract that out. I mean, we don't have these situations that arise very often, so I don't think that.
I think that's a reasonable request.
Instead of like sending us, thousands and thousands of dollars of bills per each month, because I mean, this is just kind of few and far between situation, but I mean, it happens from time to time, and so to answer your question is no, I don't think my assistant can do that.
I don't have a problem with the request whatsoever, but this is something that, as far as the budget, I don't know how where that would, line item, where it would come from to appropriate X amount of dollars in the budget to cover that contingency or that event of consultation by outside counsel.
Yeah, we probably need to just build that in going forward. Build some money in for that.
Put $5,000 in there and may never need it, and
right.
It's just for consultations. Like, hey, can we put this in our ethics package?
Yeah.
Oh, put this.
No. So like, if somebody on the ethics board has a question about whether they can legally put something in, they can consult with her. If they, or if they do need, clarification on something that's received, they can go to her. So, but I mean, really, this is just to be something that hopefully we can put on the agenda to talk about.
Chris, is there any immediate need of response on this due to issues before the ethics committee?
After talking to Kay Schaller, I think the situation that they had, they dealt with it without need of counsel, but I just think that in the future it would be good to be prepared and have someone on retainer, to be able to advise them, because I really don't feel like I could, especially on that situation, or any personnel situation involving someone in the courthouse.
So there is not an immediate need for a decision today, but a desire to put in motion during the budget planning process that we account for an appropriation to meet that need because of potential conflict of interest with county employees.
Yes.
And having an attorney designated as that person.
And we can do that in advance by does that need to be contracted, but on a contingency, on a basis? Or just for, like you say, a retainer?
I mean, I don't know that he's gonna say, hey, I need you to put down so much money and I'll hold it.
Okay, all right.
He would just bill us.
Because that's a professional service, we have that latitude on that.
Yeah.
Right, you do. I mean, pursuant to the same statute we were talking about earlier, it talks about that. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to put that before the court. I'm not asking for a vote or anything like that, but I think it's important that we have somebody that we can, go to and have that for future situations.
Why don't we, if a question comes up and anyone on the ethics committee has a problem and needs some legal advice and you don't feel comfortable with it, why don't you turn to one of our CAECO employees? It won't cost us nothing.
I mean, I don't know that, I mean, I think CAECO can answer general questions and so forth, but I don't know how in depth they're going to be, want to be involved in a particular situation, such as dealing with.
I think I may have a little bit of an answer on that. As you well know, when CAECO goes into a settlement that requires extensive general counsel knowledge about situational awareness in a particular case, they go outside counsel like Barry Stilts and and stuff like that. If it's a general, like a legal question, can we do this or can we not do this, or what's the best way to do something like that, that doesn't require an in-depth knowledge of a particular situation that could be ethics committee violation related, that would almost take up too much of council's time to get familiar with the background on why things are where they are. I think. I don't know. Do you see the difference of what I'm talking about?
I understand that, but
They're not going to go into that on a case by their particular case against somebody. I mean, I think that's asking too much of them, and I don't think they have the time for that. They represent our 120 counties.
I'd like to support Phil's question simply because we went in depth, very deeply in depth, in a called executive session on the treasurer situation that went on, and we did not wear that out, and we did not spend any additional money.
Yeah, I mean, I think if our CAECO person is, if we're able to, we can have the ethics committee, first attempt to ask any type of legal question to CAECO, and if CAECO says, hey, we that's just, beyond what we're, supposed to do, beyond our pay grade or whatever, then I mean, I think that outside counsel, should be retained or, consulted about. So yeah, I mean, I'm all about, if we can get the answer for free through CAECO, then yes, use them by all means. But if not, then Miss Courage or whoever you choose, I mean, I think would be good to have as backup.
I'd be willing to ask council the question if it is something that they would consider on a routine basis accepting or not. I would tend to believe that they might not, but I haven't asked the question. You don't know the answer to yet.
We can't resolve this today anyway.
Nope.
No.
I mean,
Anyway, there was something that kind of started to come up that thought we needed to retain somebody, but it's resolved itself. But we're going to need to do something between now and June to come up with an idea of who we go to if something else arises that our ethics board can go to, because they can't go to Chris.
I just cannot imagine
I'll
it.
see him Thursday. Would you like for me to check it out and see what Tim stirs or one of them?
Okay.
I just cannot imagine the complexity approaching what we went through.
Attorney Association meeting, so I planned on, talking to him there too about this, but I just kind of wanted to put you all on notice, have you thinking about that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, thank
Sound
you.
good. All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
What else you got?
All right, I had a whole list of things, but I'll stop.
Yeah, let me make a motion that on the vehicle, that we pay upon receipt, or however that needs to be.
Second.
Okay.
This
is on the emergency requisition.
Right, on the emergency ambulance.
So, motion made by Mr. Gaten, second by Mr. Cullen.
Let Phil do it since he
I
seconded the other one.
Phil, okay, you did? Okay. Salmons was second on that, and this is for immediate pay on delivery of the emergency vehicle purchase. So, any questions?
No.
There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, two quick things. February 10th, I tentatively have a Pulse of the People set up
February 10th.
for the 4th District. It's a Thursday. There's no UK games going on, so we should be good.
Yeah.
You have your location?
The location I have, I just need confirmation from a second person on it. And then I was at the Kentucky's for Better Transportation Summit last week. That was put on by our former CVB director. It was really good, but one thing that it really showed me is that we need to, as a community and community leaders, we need to get involved with our schools and start pushing aviation in the schools. That was a big part of the transportation. And so we really need to get together with our superintendents, principals, and elected officials, you know, and really come together and show them the importance of having aviation as a career option, and it's free to them. There's a curriculum and everything.
We have classes in high school on
Not right,
aviation.
not right now. We don't. You go to Marion, Washington County, they do. In fact, I think it's either Marion or Washington County right now is building their second experimental airplane. Somebody donated the first one. The kids built it with the help of Bill Hammond, who's right here. But
I thought Boyle County did have a class on it.
they started, and then COVID hit, and then things just kind of got messed up. But we really need to be on this. They're building they were able to buy a second airplane with the proceeds of the first airplane, and it's really teaching kids how to put stuff together. General can tell you the A&P program that we'd like to still have or whatever, but we'll talk about that more. I've kept you guys enough, but
All right. Is that it? Chris, are you still on? You got anything?
I am. I was just gonna, inform the court that I had a meeting with several different law enforcement and including Michael Rogers and 911. I had to deal with a situation where a person had called over the past year and a half, had called 911 over 100 plus times, and 911 had to go out, ambulance had to go down to one of our cities within Boyle County and transport this person to the hospital where, after being looked at, I don't know, there's a lot of false calls, so we're actually prosecuting because of that situation, but these ambulances, they get a lot of wear and tear, and, situation like that where you're having to go to one of our neighboring cities within our county, it's just kind of seemed pretty ridiculous how many times ambulance had to go out and wasted resources and so forth. So I dealt with that last week, so I just wanted to advise you all of that situation, and hopefully it's under control now.
Chris, is that an active prosecution?
Yes.
All right, thank you for that information.
But, other than that, sorry I can't be there. I'm under the weather. Really, I don't have any symptoms or anything like that. I just have to do my time in isolation.
In COVID prison. Yep, got it.
So, feel free to call me if you guys have any situations that come up, or text me. And I'm bored at my house, so I'm more than willing to be able to help you all. So just give me a call if you need me.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chris.
Stay healthy.
Yeah, get better. Phil?
Oh, no, only thing I was gonna follow up with questions.
Did you finish?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're all right.
The only thing I had was just, I had questions about the airport. How's it coming on remodeling the hangars and so on?
It's doing fantastic. The company that they're using has worked tremendously quick to kind of get stuff going. So they should be rebuilding those hangars pretty soon. One of the other benefits of being at that transportation was getting to talk to Commissioner Carter, who's the commissioner over aviation for Kentucky, and he said the Danville-Boyle County Airport is the model of general aviation in Kentucky, and so our airport board does a fantastic job. What we have going on there, most people don't realize it, off the extent of what we have. But yeah, they're doing really well. They've reacted to a situation that hopefully we never have again, and have done great. So
people that own planes that are destroyed, or the insurance companies getting with them pretty fast, or
yeah, I've only heard a couple horror stories about things, but I think it's all being worked out. So
good. That's all I have, Judge. I'm just curious.
Thank you.
I like that airport. I don't fly them, but I love the airport, and I know what an asset it is to this community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Brother Short.
I really don't have a whole lot to say other than I thank the court and our county for reaching out for Junction, maybe get some stuff going on over there. The more we do in our different districts and stuff, I think the greater our county will be.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
It looks up.
All right, great, thank you.
That's it.
Just real quick, this is tomorrow, the P&Z. I would hope that y'all will show up. I think it's a very important subject. So just kind of a reminder.
Yep.
That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, no, Judge, I'm shocked.
Yeah. I appreciate everybody today thoroughly examining a lot of issues.
Sorry.
And there is a request by our city manager here in Danville to spend some time with each of us this week on Friday, all day, if I understand the invitation correctly. And there's a sign-up sheet of 9, 9:45, 10:30, 10, 11:15, and 1:15 here, if you can write your name about it. And we will put you together with the city manager of Danville to go out and show you the vision for Millennium, show you the vision for future county infrastructure expansion, and how it fits in with White's Park development and improvements. And I think you will find it very enlightening and very informative. And I would encourage each of you to do that sometime on Friday. And the sheet is circulating. I would appreciate it. You will be much better informed on things going on in that general area if you can participate in this.
Why would you want just one-on-one basis? Why couldn't we go as a group and get it over with?
More effective.
It's hard to bring all 6 schedules together to do that.
It's a vehicle tour.
It's a, you know.
He takes you from site to site. Okay. You won't be able to ask questions if you're all together.
Okay.
When I drive a bus, everybody gets the bus, we take the tour.
Hey, I'll let you guys sign up. My day's pretty open for that day, so I'll let you guys take it.
Did you
Tom got
guys?
his. Tom got
Yeah,
his.
I'm gonna be out of town the rest of the week. I'll get with him next week.
Okay.
Earl and I spent enough time together last week.
Yeah, I'll get with him.
Is there anything else to come before the court? We've
Had a good meeting.
had a good meeting.
Where do we meet at the park for this or some other location?
We'll let you know.
Okay.
We'll let you know. Okay. I don't have anything else. I appreciate your time, your efforts, your involvement, and we've done some really good things today. I will get a copy of the emergency order out on this, so everybody has that through email copy of what we're doing. Yes, sir, John.
Just real quick, I think the Frankfurt is February 9th,
February 2nd, or 3rd and 4th.
3rd and 4th. Okay, just a reminder.
No, that's not Frankfurt. That's something different.
That's
Second and third is one
it
of the
may be the
conferences.
I think it's the
The
9th.
ninth
but-
is
I think
the
I got it by
legislative day.
registered already.
Well, I'm glad you said that, John. 'Cause
That's gonna be online, ain't it? One,
No, we're talking.
No,
the
it's
9th.
not. It's at-
This is
I'm
the
sorry.
visit to the
Did
legislature.
you
I
get
can't go to that.
Yeah, did you get information on that, inviting you to the K-Call reception for the legislators? I'm sure you did.
February
I
9th.
haven't got mine yet.
I think
I
so.
haven't got,
I think so.
February
Did-
We've
9th.
already put it on there.
right, she's already
It's,
got it.
This
That day.
Okay.
Yeah.
legislative day that day, and
45.
this is a reception for
Yeah,
all county employees. Okay?
yeah.
It was just to get it on the calendar, just remind people. I won't be
Now,
there. I can't
with
go.
your new iPads, if y'all take advantage of like Google Calendar, which is what I use, you can set that up and we can feed those appointments to your Google Calendar. I think is a huge advance toward keeping you on
Yeah.
track with information coming.
My emails are killing me right now.
Yeah, I know, they're so slow, aren't they? And they go from 4 to 5 minutes.
And they're sending them to my regular one, to my
Just,
district one.
and last thing before I ask for a motion to adjourn, on your left side in your binder, there is an article about Miss Terry Gilbert, an award that she received, and I have sent a letter forward from the courts, a recognition of that award. Also, there are some other information about redistricting in the state, just for information for you to have. Yes, sir. Hey, Dr. Williams, it's pretty fresh, pretty new, but Dr. David Williams just received a Hall of Fame recognition in agriculture for the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and that is a huge award. So I plan to send out a letter of congratulations to him in a very...
Send it from the court, Judge.
From the court.
Yes, sir.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations,
Thank
sir.
you for doing that.
All right, a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion is made by to adjourn, McCullen, and seconded by Magistrate Simmons. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good, we're sorry you missed that meeting.
I didn't make my